Welcome into OC Riptide Baseball. Sam Evans alongside Colin Costigan here. As the Riptide in game number 20 of the summer, they've lost back-to-back games for the first time all summer long. It's been a bit of a rough stretch. Hopefully they can get it going. It was a tough loss yesterday up in Compton.
Yeah, definitely one of the toughest losses the Riptide arguably will have this entire season. It was a game in which they controlled well. You got early production, you got middle game production, but they just couldn't get those timely hits. And a huge credit to the Barons. They were on a hot streak entering that one. They were winners of 3 of 4. The Riptide now sadly losers of 3 and 4.
So the Conejo Oaks, the defending two-time back-to-back CCL champions, come to the Great Park. The Oaks were beaten by the Riptide 12-2 a week ago on Friday. Sammy Kova's on the mound just like he was in that week. Orange County scored 10 runs in the bottom of the first inning, so you don't want to miss the bottom of the first of this one. The Oaks line up against the lefty Sammy Kova, Brandon Contreras, Aiden Voiles, Matthew Whitko, Tyler Antwine at DH, batting cleanup, Tyson Reese at first bats 5th, Caden Stillwell in left field bats 6th, Nate Lopez bats 7th and plays second base, Bodie Greaves in center field batting 8th, Zach Nagy's at shortstop batting 9th. Riptide's defense, Reed Montgomery in left, Trajan Rogowski in center, Tatum Marsh in right, Bradley Boudreau at third base, Travis Curry at shortstop, Connor Barth at second, Justin Tiller in his final game for the Riptide this summer at first, and Noah Neufeld doing the catching for Sammy Kova. Mike, we gotta bring up audio. Let's get peeking really bad mirrors. Apologies. We'll try and get our audio issues sorted out here a little bit. Just about ready to get this ball game underway. But Colin, what are you looking for the Riptide in order to, stop this slide and get a win today?
It has to come with the bats first. You look at the pitching staff. They did inevitably lose the lead yesterday, but it's a very good Barons team. You have to be able to clean it up and get those hits when they matter most, and you got to be able to take advantage of the opportunities. The Riptide made 3 errors yesterday. One of them a crucial one from Connor Barth, one that he knows he could have made, and that ended up being the go-ahead run that reached first base, and then they ended up bringing him in for the walk-off.
So now the left-handed hitting Brandon Contreras, the right fielder for the Oaks, hitting .485 in 8 games this summer, coming to the plate here. A dangerous hitter, not one that you want to let get aboard. Riptide showed how easy it is to start fast when these two teams last met a week ago. That was helped by Kova putting up a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first. See if he can do the same thing again. So far this summer, in 9 innings, Kova's allowed just 1 run. First pitch for the left-hander. Line drive right back up the middle. Base knock that'll fall in front of Rogowski. So 1 pitch into this game, the Oaks have a base runner.
Swinging early and right on point right there. Of course, Contreras easily one of their hottest bats, showing why he's batting at the top of the leadoff. Just took a pitch on the outer half and lined it right back up the middle.
So now Aiden Voiles, the catcher, batting second. Another guy who's hitting well for Conejo so far this summer. In 6 games, hitting .409. Wes Mott hit over 400 as well. First pitch swinging, but Kova gets a whiff, and he's ahead 0-1. This will be Sammy Kova's last outing on the summer with the Riptide. A couple of pitchers today making their final appearance. Dylan Orr as well for Orange County will be finishing up with the Riptide this summer potentially. The 0-1 misses down, 1-1 count. It's just the nature of things in summer ball is some guys are only here for half a summer. They sort of come and go, and Kova's one of those guys. He's been great so far. This is 1-1, finds the outside corner, 1-2 count. Just trying to put a final bow on the summer that he's had with Orange County.
Absolutely, trying to send him a nice little present on his way out as well with a quality start, which we know he's very capable of doing, and had the chance to talk with him earlier this week. He really did enjoy his time here at the Riptide, getting to know a lot of these guys that he hasn't really seen in quite some time.
1-2. Strike 3. Voiles chases the fastball up. That's the first K of the day for Kova. When these two teams met a week ago, he had 6 in 4 scoreless innings. Now Matthew Whitko comes to the plate. Second lefty of the day for Conejo. been a little bit of time off for Whitco. He played yesterday, drove in 2 runs against the Waves, but prior to that, he had 8 straight days where he hadn't been in the lineup. Swings and misses at a slider down and away, and Kova quickly puts himself ahead.
Yeah, was also one of the guys that was not in the lineup on the 19th, so this will be his first time playing the Riptide here at the OC Great Park.
Final meeting between these two teams here as well, all season long. 0-1 from Kova. Finds the outside corner, 0-2. Riptide still have 3 more trips, up to Ventura to take on these Oaks, including tomorrow. They finish off this home-and-home set over the Friday, Saturday part of the weekend. 0-2 from Kova, looking for his 2nd straight strikeout. Misses up and in, since Whitco ducking out of the way.
Nonetheless, though, I mean, it doesn't sound too bad when you get to say, oh, I get to go to Ventura a few more times. I don't think anyone's ever complained about that.
Certainly is an interesting field up there that the Conejo Oaks have. Not quite as tidy, as put together as the Great Park, but another great place for baseball. 1-2 count. Swing and a miss. Down and away with the slider. And after the leadoff single from Brennan Contreras, 2 straight strikeouts from Sammy Kova. Now Tyler Antoine to the plate. Designated hitter today. Has not been doing a whole lot of hitting this summer. Just 0-71. And after the first 3 hitters for the David Solis Oaks all came in hitting above 350. A little bit easier part of the lineup right here for Kova, who picks over towards first and did not get Contreras. He was darn close. Got a great move, especially for a lefty. It's not that long ago that Kova was able to pick off a runner against these Oaks. Still waiting the first pitch here to Antoine. Fouled straight back, 0-1.
Yeah, there's such an advantage being a left-hander, obviously being able to see them and their leadoff over there, but a couple times they have some nifty pickoff moves, and Sammy has shown that a couple of times. He can just quickly step off and kind of sidearm it over towards first before really anybody can even react. It's such an advantage from the left-hand side.
0-1. Strike dropped in the off-speed pitch, and Kova's 1 strike away from getting 3 punches in the first inning.
That slider is just on point right now. Even when he's kind of midair hitting it over the middle of the plate, he's had him completely frozen.
0-2. Strike 3. 3 straight swinging strikeouts for Sammy Kova, and he leaves the lead single from Contreras on first. The Riptide bats are coming up at the bottom of the first inning when we come back. Bottom of the first inning, still tied at 0. Hunter Hammond on the mound for the Conejo Oaks, facing off against the Riptide lineup that's led off by Trajan Rogowski playing center. Jarrett Sable, the DH, bats second. Connor Barth at second base bats third. Justin Tiller in the cleanup spot bats fourth. Tatum Marsh draws the start in right field batting fifth. Noah Neufeld at the sixth spot does the catching for the Riptide today. Bradley Boudreau's at third base and batting seventh. Travis Curry's at shortstop batting eighth. And the lineup's rounded out by Reed Montgomery in the number 9 hole playing left field. We'll get the Oaks defense for you after Hunter Hammond's first pitch to Trajan Rogowski. This is up and in for ball 1. So Caden Stillwell's in left, Bodie Grieve in center, Brandon Contreras in right, Matthew Whitko at the hot corner, Zach Nagy at shortstop, Nate Lopez at the keystone, Tyson Reese at first, and Aiden Boyles just caught strike 1 from Hammond. It's a 1-1 count. Now Hunter Hammond's last outing was here a week ago against the Riptide, and it went about as disastrously as any start can go. So 1-1 is chopped. It's going to be a tough play for the third baseman Whitko, who spikes it in the dirt, gets away. Rogowski's headed for second. And Orange County's got a runner in scoring position immediately. Infield single for Trajan Rogowski, who advances to second on the throwing error. And more of the same here at the Great Park for the Conejo Oaks. So Hunter Hammond's line, last time out here, he's got 1 out, so 1/3 of an inning, 6 hits, 10 runs allowed, 9 of which were earned, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Davis Solis left him out there for quite a while, but just could not get outs from the Riptide hitters, and well, he's looking for some revenge here today. Jarrett Sable at the plate now. Ball 1, up and away. Big day for Jarrett Sable yesterday, Con.
Absolutely. The minute he hit that one at the MLB Youth Academy, he absolutely was gone. Like, absolutely crushed that baseball. Ball does fly well there. Back in the 2-hole here tonight.
Takes his strike. 1-2 count now on Jarrett Sable. Pardon me, 1-1 count on Sable. At home run, 1 of 3 hits for the Riptide's DH. Second home run of the summer. That's first on the team. Pops that one up foul. Now it's a 1-2 count.
Yeah, he was sort of sitting fastball in that AB, and he finally got one in his happy zone, kind of near the middle high part of the zone. Absolutely corked it over towards right field, and it really was a thing of beauty. And he, funny enough, was the last hit for the Riptide until he got his infield single in the 6th inning. So the offense kind of hit a blunder after that homer.
Swing and a miss. And after having 3 hits and a homer yesterday, Sable's out number 1 here tonight for the Riptide. It's a big K for Hunter Hammond.
Yeah, the Riptide, it was an issue that they had. Really, it wasn't even about trying to hit with runners in scoring position like they have right now. After the homer, they had 12 of their next 13 batters were retired. The only one that reached was on a hit-by-pitch from Bradley Boudreau in the 2nd inning. So they definitely are going to want to change that here as they approach the middle stages of the game later on.
Connor Barth at the plate. This one up and in. It gets away from the catcher Boyles, and Rogowski's able to move up to third on ball 1. But for the Riptide, the last couple games here, these last 2 losses, they've started fast. They scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second against the San Diego Bombers on Wednesday, 2 in the first yesterday on the road against the Barons, but haven't been able to continue that offense into the later parts of games, and they've gone on to lose both of those games despite having the early lead. Bart trying to come through and give the Riptide that early lead right here. So he takes ball 2 upstairs. Connor Barth with 11 RBIs this summer. Trajan Rogowski less than 90 feet away. Barth fouls it off himself, 2-1 count.
Yeah, talk about that hit from Sable, of course, in the 6th, later on when Barth was in the cleanup spot, had that RBI double. Initially, from where I was positioned, couldn't tell if it carried well, but because of how the ball traveled there, became an RBI double. That was his first hit after going for an 0-for-10 streak.
2-1 to Barth. Popped up, should stay on the infield. Reese, the first baseman, is called off by Lopez, who makes the catch and turns quickly to make sure that Trajan Rogowski can't advance. So a squandered opportunity there for Connor Barth and the Riptide.
Yeah, I know for Hunter Hammond, it has to feel good to get that second out. Unfortunately, in that last outing, was only able to get the 1 out, and that was to Curry after it was already a 3-0 game with the bases full. So a much better start, and you can tell Coach Solis as well is really just entrusting him to kind of just flush it away.
Well, that's just a lot of confidence from Coach Davis Solis and saying, hey, I know it was a bad start against these guys. You know, you could have started them, let's say, yesterday when the Oaks took on the affiliate team, San Diego Waves, but they said, no, Hunter, we want you to go back out there, get another opportunity. He's done well so far. Tiller fouls the first pitch back 0-1. Only the infield single for Trajan Rogowski to lead off this game so far. Then he moved up to second on a throwing error, then third on a wild pitch. So we got to where we are right here. 0-1 to Tiller. Misses the zone a little bit down, 1-1 count.
Yeah, interesting that they're kind of moving him back up. This is just his second time batting cleanup this season, and yesterday he was batting fifth. It was also just the second time he had done that, so Coach Evans kind of shifting him around in the middle of the order.
Takes a ball outside, 2-1 count. Justin Tiller, who's committed to Texas A&M, won't be joining the Riptide anymore after tonight. Just here for the first half of the summer. He wants to go home and spend some more time with his family. He's got to report early to College Station, so he wants to enjoy a little bit of summer. Just as a regular human being and not a baseball player.
Yeah, of course, emphasize the facilities there yesterday. They are going to spend $80 million to upgrade that field. They have 6 different lanes in their batting cages, and he was telling me it's one of the biggest that they have in the country. It's a top facility for a top player.
A 3-1 popped up in the air to left field. Stillwell's camped under it. Sky high, but he does make the catch. That'll end the bottom of the first inning. After the Riptide scored 10 the last time these two teams met a week ago, it's 0-0 through the first inning here at the Great Park. Top of the second inning is brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Woodbury Town Center. No score yet here in Irvine. Tyson Reese, Caden Stillwell, Nate Lopez coming to the plate for Conejo. Reese, the third and final lefty in this Conejo lineup, will be followed by 4 straight righties before the lineup flips back over. Kova struck out the last 3 batters he faced, trying to get ahead of Reese. Does just that with an off speed on the outside part of the zone. 0-1. I think Sammy Kova might just love pitching here at the Great Park. He's preparing for his 0-1 to Reese. Just fouled, cubed on the line. It's going to turn into a fair ball. Boudreau picks it up and throws to first. And that is one of the more unusual base hits you'll ever see.
I think you and I could make a prediction right now, and it would be fair to say that we are probably never going to see that again this summer.
That literally kicked off the lip of the grass that's on the foul side of being a fair ball, and then kicks a good 5 feet into fair territory. Heads up by Reese to keep running. He's got an infield single, and he's aboard. Caden Stillwell at the plate. So maybe Sammy Kilmer doesn't like the Great Park quite so much now.
You just had to say it, of course.
I know, right? Pitch misses inside 1-0, but this summer he's now thrown 10 innings, giving up just 1 run, so an ERA under 1. And in 2024, when Conejo was here at the Riptide, he had a 0.44 ERA in 20.1 innings. So over 30 innings here at the Great Park, he's given up 2 runs. Strike at the knees, evened up the count at 1-1.
Well, and a huge thing that goes into it too, and I was talking with him about it earlier in the week on Wednesday, he really just feels comfortable when he's here because he knows he can challenge a guy. A lot of pitchers have expressed that, but he can throw his heat and know that it's more than likely not going to get out of this ballpark.
A 1-1 shot towards Boudreau. Chance for redemption on the slow hop. Throw to first, not in time. Had a little bit of trouble getting it out of his glove. And a couple of infield singles to lead off the top of the second inning. I mean, a pair of Oaks are aboard.
Yeah, the Riptide were actually in a similar situation. In the third inning yesterday, obviously they had a lead at that point, but they dropped down back-to-back bunts, the Barons did, and then they were able to get 1 run back that way. So sometimes teams are finding ways to do small ball to try to take down the Riptide, of course.
I mean, there was just good pitching from Kova. Had a foul ball, turned into a fair ball for Reese, and then a chopper for Stillwell. The grass sort of slowed down a little bit too much. Now Nate Lopez, transfer portal kid from San Diego State, takes a ball down, 1-0 count. Lopez hitting .214 so far with Conejo. Sharply hit into left field for a base knock. Montgomery charges quickly, and the runners Reese and Stillwell had to hold a little bit since it was a liner and they wanted to make sure they didn't get doubled off. But for the first hard hit ball of the inning, the bases are loaded with nobody out here for the Oaks.
The Riptide were a little bit fortunate there that Tyson Reese didn't have a great read on that. Obviously, he did the right thing by kind of waiting for the ball, but he actually backpedaled a little bit towards second, so had absolutely no chance of trying to score in that one.
Now the speedy Bodie Grieve is going to be a tough guy to try and double off. Comes to the plate. He's hitting just .053 this summer, though. Big spot here with the bases juiced and nobody out. First pitch swinging. Liner down the right field line. Foul ball. Ooh. That's a sigh of relief for the Riptide. That ball was within a couple feet, if even, of being a fair one.
Well, heads up to Heath Jones down there on the first base line. That ball was about as close as it could get. I thought right there that it was going to drop in for a fair ball. Just the way that one was tailing, it didn't really have much kick on it. But the Riptide do catch a big break nonetheless.
No, it was time for Sammy Kilmer to get a break here. This inning's been a little bit cruel to him with the pair of infield singles. The baseball god give him one back. Nothing in 1 here on Bodie Grieve. Pitch misses down and in, 1-1 count. Kova's done a good job of limiting free passes. He's only walked 2 in 10 innings this summer. One and 1. Pitch misses down and away, 2-1 count. For Bodie Grieve, guy who's just been so unfortunate and off to a slow start with the Oaks. I'm sure this feels like a big moment to try and ingratiate himself with his teammates. He has driven in 4 runs despite only having the 1 hit in 7 games. 2-1. Strike. Big pitch from Kova. Puts himself 1 strike away from a monumental first out here at the top of the second.
Yeah, and big thing for him, he obviously spent last year at Lafayette. He actually had a thumb injury that kept him out for 16 games during that season, and thumb injuries are definitely no joke.
2-2. Outside for ball 3. Kova's going to have to come in the strike zone unless he wants to risk walking in a run.
Yeah, home plate umpire Frank Flugrat behind the dish right there. It looked like a good call from our vantage point. It was a borderline pitch, but just missed on the outer half.
3-2 for Kova. Big pitch early in the ball game. Shot towards second. Barth charges. He's only got 1 play. He flips underhand to first to get Grieve. But our run comes in to score for the Oaks. It's 1-0. And Lopez and Stillwell each move into scoring position. Productive out for Bodie Grieve.
Quite literally, the most productive out you could have. Not only do you get the run in, you take away the double play, you force the Riptide to sort of bring the corners in just a little bit.
The number 9 man, Zach Nagy, at the plate. Swing and a miss. That back foot slider has been so good for Kova. Key to try and limit the damage here if you're Sammy on the mound. The Riptide bats an opportunity to back you up and give you some run support. This is the zone with the fastball there. The count evens up at 1-1.
Yeah, clearly this is going to be a very different game for the Riptide from when the Oaks were last here. For Sammy Kova, just had some things not go his way in on the infield, but has already given up double the amount of hits he did last time.
1-1. Swing and a miss. That's not changing for Kova. He was generating whiffs, had the 6 strikeouts, actually accounting for 6 of his 9 Ks of the summer. He's already got 3 more here tonight. So he's been able to get swing and miss, just the batted ball distribution hasn't been quite as kind to the Riptide southpaw. 1-2. Slapped foul and out of the stadium.
That one looks like it's going down the main exitway right there, so nobody's cars should be in danger.
You know, on the way to the ballpark the other day, Avi Singh, one of the Riptide announcers, ran over a baseball while I was in the car. He said because it was out in the middle of the street. Sometimes they run away and they get out of the stadium. 1-2. Misses down. 2-2 count.
And how did it affect the car? Did you feel a lot?
I didn't feel all that much. I wasn't all that focused on it. But Avi said he felt it, so you can ask him. He said he didn't seem to mind it. All that much, at least. 2-2. Strike 3 call. Big pitch right there from Sammy Kova. He freezes Nagy. It's 4 strikeouts already. 4 of the 5 outs have come by way of the K through the first time through the lineup. And now, no chance for a productive out to score a run for Conejo.
Yeah, went right back to it, trusted his stuff right there, and completely froze him right there. And when you have that mix of slider and fastball, I was actually talking about it with Colin Reed today, who had his first 1-2-3 inning earlier in the week. First time he pitched in 2 years. Says it really just is a truly lethal combo.
Now Brandon Contreras, who singled to center on the very first pitch of this ball game. Goes after the first offering from Kova once again, fouls it into the screen behind home plate. And you can, with the amount of bad luck and rough start to the inning that Kova had, get out of it with just giving up 1 run. That would be a massive success. Takes resiliency if you're a pitcher to sort of flush the unfortunate nature that sometimes comes. 0-1. This is down and away. 1-1 count. So easy to fold mentally on the mound. It can feel really lonely. We saw Hunter Hammond for the Oaks have some stuff not go his way and some soft contact turn into base hits, and it all snowballed into a 10-run inning. Kova wants to make sure it's just a 1-run top of the second. 1-1. Slider can't quite find the strike zone. 2-1 count.
Yeah, and to a hitter as good as Contreras right now, you look at the numbers speak for themselves, of course. Had the second best batting average in the entire CCL coming into this one, and the hit just raised it. But wonder if you try to challenge him on the inner half right here. You are behind in the count. You do have first base open, but we know Sammy is going to want to try to challenge him.
See what Kova does here. He does challenge him with a fastball up in the zone. Contreras gets a piece, but the count evens up at 2-2 on the foul ball.
Yeah, probably not where he was entirely set up right there. Caught a little too much of the plate, but elevated it just enough to get him to go under it.
When Kova definitely has confidence in all of his pitches, he can throw whatever he needs to for strikes. Not a guy who can't land his off speed. Willing to expand the zone here with the 2-strike count. Sharply hit towards third. Nice play by Boudreaux, who jumps and snags it to end the inning. Oaks get one, but it could have been a lot worse. Riptide bats are coming back up. Bottom of the second inning is brought to you by First Class Pizza in Woodbury Town Center. The Oaks got one in the top of the second. Riptide trying to respond here against Hunter Hammond, working into the second inning after a disastrous outing, his first time here at the Great Park. Misses the zone inside for ball one to Tatum Marsh. It's got to be so comforting for the Oaks to be like, okay, we got through that first frame. You know, we're not down by 10 like we were a week ago.
You were talking about pizza. There was nothing cheesy for him about that last game.
1-0 misses down and away. 2-0 count. Tatum Marsh has been off to a little bit of a slow start with the Riptide, hitting just 105 games. Stanford man trying to figure stuff out. He's in a great count here, up 3-0.
Yeah, he's absolutely due for a big game. You look at yesterday, you look at the box score, 0 for 4. Didn't strike out, though. He hit the ball hard a couple times into the outfield, really on both sides. So he was hitting the ball everywhere.
Takes a strike at the knees, 3-1 count. What I've been so impressed with from Tatum Marsh is that he hasn't let his struggles at the plate affect him in the field. He's already got an outfield assist, and he made a spectacular diving catch in left field the last time the Riptide were here at the Great Park. Draws the walk here, his first of the summer, and hopefully just that's the kind of thing that unlocks him a little bit and lets him truly become the best version of himself.
Yeah, what that reminds me of is Zach Woodson as well with the Riptide. He talked about he was barely hitting above 100 through the first 2 weeks of the season, went on a tear, had a 3-hit game, was spreading the ball all over the field, and it just kind of unlocked a new gear for him. And he was able to, once he just got one to fall for him, the floodgates just opened.
Now Neufeld at the plate. Yeah, I was talking to Marsh, who he had just an incredible year as a freshman at Stanford. Neufeld grounds one to shortstop, could be two. It will not be two. The first baseman, Tyson Reese, bobbled the baseball at first. So a fielder's choice, Reese's Marsh, allows Neufeld to reach. Bradley Boudreaux now coming to the plate here with one out for the Riptide as they try to cut into this 1-0 deficit.
Obviously still very early in this game, but it was the Riptide who couldn't handle the ball too well yesterday. They had the 3 errors. The most they had in the season, funny enough, was at SLO, and they ended up winning that game. They had 4, but they never had more than 2 in a game, and costly errors like that and even miscues like that over at first base. See if the Riptide can get their revenge on it.
Boudreaux fouls one into the screen. 0-1. Can't be an error since it's the back end of a double play. You can't assume the double play, but definitely a missed opportunity for Tyson Reese at first. And if you're Boudreaux and the Riptide, this is exactly when you want to pounce and make Hunter Hammond work a little bit harder. Boudreaux fouls one into the screen over by the Riptide dugout. Hasn't been the summer so far that Boudreaux wanted, hitting just 180 in 12 games for Orange County. But a little bit understandable. He redshirted due to a lower back injury at Fordham, and just hasn't played baseball in so long, so he's still getting his sea legs under him. 0-2. Swing and a miss, second K for Hammond in the second out here of the bottom of the second.
Yeah, just got ahead of him right there and challenged him. You know, Boudreaux has been struggling at the dish a little bit, so whenever you face hitters like that are kind of in that stretch, that's exactly what you do, and huge credit for Hammond to recognize that and just blow it right by him.
So now Travis Curry to the plate. 0 for 4 yesterday on the road in Compton. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Neufeld on first after reaching on the fielder's choice. Oaks already up 1-0. They did not lead Riptide's last game against Conejo. Conejo won their home game, though, that Orange County had earlier in the year, taking on the Riptide 7-4. And both these games have been a case where the team that scored first sort of jumped ahead, took a big lead. For the Riptide, it was 10. For the Oaks, it was 4. And from there, the game was never truly in doubt. Curry grounds one to third. Whitko will go the short way, and out in the inning with a fielder's choice. So after a leadoff walk from Tatum Marsh, Hunter Hammond works through a second straight scoreless inning. Conejo leads this one 1-0 as we go to the third. Top of the third inning is brought to you by FanSaves. Conejo leads this one 1-0. Sam Evans alongside Colin Costigan with you here on the Riptide YouTube channel. Sammy Kova looks to bounce back from a difficult, strenuous second inning. Here against Aiden Boyles, Matthew Whitko, Tyler Antwine. Part of this Oaks order, 2-3-4. First pitch misses outside for ball 1. While it is the best part of this Conejo lineup, Kova cruised through them, struck out Boyles, Whitko, and Antwine to end the first inning. Do the exact same thing right here. Second pitch swinging, a liner to right field. Marsh moves over and makes the catch in the gap. He does get the out, even if not with a strikeout. Nice job there from Tatum Marsh. Got a good jump on that baseball. We were talking about how his defense has been so steady. The highlight play in left field on a diving catch against the Bombers on Wednesday, playing in right today. Just covering a good amount of ground, fighting off the sun with these, and making a good first out of the inning. Now Whitko. Chased a fastball up for strike 3 last time. Takes a ball down that gets away from the catcher Neufeld, but no base runners, so no problem. 1-0 from Kova. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
That's the kind of pitch you're going to want to continue to try to use against those lefties. That high and in fastball, we actually saw it earlier in the season with Lopez when he came here earlier and was able to kind of challenge him high and inside and get a lot of the left-handed hitters out in front.
Kova's 1-1. Swing and a miss. He's ahead of Whitko for the second straight at-bat. Now, Whitko's from Calabasas, but he plays his college baseball at Harvard in the Ivy League. Coming back out here to California to spend his summers. Trying to extend the at-bat right here against Sammy Kova. Does just that. Gets a piece. Had to slow his bat down a little bit. Was sitting on the fastball from Kova and waited on the off-speed just long enough to keep the at-bat going.
Yeah, you talk about that season at Harvard. He was a very patient hitter. He worked those 22 walks in his 33 appearances and starts. So it's a guy who will really try to work the count like he's doing right now.
1-2 from Sammy Kova. Strike 3. Second time that Whitko goes down swinging. 5 Ks now for Sammy, who is showing off here in his final appearance with the Riptide.
Yeah, had him way out in front of that off speed right there. That was a good comeback pitch. He'd been teasing him with the slider a little bit like we were talking about on the middle to inner half, and then that's exactly how you kind of get him out in front. Just drop in, change of speeds and change of directions. Completely had him out in front.
Kova had just 3 strikeouts in his first 2 games over 5 innings. But since, now in 6 2/3, he struck out 11. So, racketing up the Ks. First pitch to Antoine. Misses the zone outside for ball 1. 1-0.
Kova K does have a good ring to it, so definitely like that.
I like that. I just thought you might have to talk to Sammy after the game to make sure he can get that trademarked, you know? So Antoine, who came into today hitting .071, already struck out once. It's up in the count 2-0. Antoine was at Fresno State to begin his college career, where he redshirted in 2025, but he made the move down to the community college level at San Joaquin Delta, where he hit .337 in the spring. He's up in the count 3-0. Kova's having some control issues here.
Yeah, you talk about that season. He was the Big 8 conference home run leader there in a all Big 8 selection, of course, after that terrific season he had.
There's Connor Barth over at second base, also an all Big 8 selection. The 3-0, high fly ball to left field. Montgomery moves over, has to wait an age for it to come down, but it does, and he makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning, good response after a tough second for Sammy Kova. We're through 2.5. Conejo's still up 1-0. Bottom of the third is brought to you by Marucci, the official outfitter of the OC Riptide. Got on my Marucci polo up here in the booth as Reed Montgomery comes to the plate. 9-man in the Riptide lineup. Rogowski and Sable will follow as the lineup flips over for Brian Evans. Reed's been playing out of that 9 spot quite a bit, much all summer long for Orange County, but he has been raking. Takes ball 1 up and away, hitting .361. It's not often that the guy at the bottom of your lineup's hitting over .350. He's hitting for power too, got a home run, slugging almost .600. A great second summer here in Orange County.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that as well. He has been the guy to turn it over to the top of the lineup. This is the 11th game he's now been batting at the very bottom of the order, and he has done a terrific job all season. Talked about that slug. It's in the top 10 in the CCL right now.
And there's one that's hit hard to right field and deep. Contreras moving back. It's off the wall in right field. Reed Montgomery is going to think about a triple, but will ultimately slow into second. Almost spoke the home run into existence. But I'm sure Reed will settle for the double. And in scoring position here for Trajan Rogowski as the Riptide try and tie this game up.
That was perfect timing right there. The opposite of an announcer's jinx for myself right there. And I'd love to see Reed barrel one right there. Just unfortunately, the time of day. We know there's a little bit of a breeze here moving out towards right. You can see it moving on the trees, but not able to get enough. That is probably as close as you can get.
It's the second time this week that you've seen someone go wall ball to right, but not quite get it out of the yard. Jarrett Sable did it on Tuesday. Rogowski takes strike 1. He had his first extra base hit of the summer yesterday. He doubled in Compton. Hunter Harrington was giving him credit. He said he almost got it out of the yard. 0-1. This is inside. County was up at 1-1.
Yeah, he put obviously good wood on it. Just missed it a little bit before Sable absolutely destroyed the baseball right after him. But he was ready for that fastball. They tried to throw one in the middle high part of the zone, and he was ready for it. He got the hands up there and completely blasted it.
1-1. Misses the bottom of the zone. 2-1 count. You know, for Trajan Rogowski, he does so many things well with his defense, his speed, his ability to take pitches. He's got 10 walks this summer. Power, not exactly the strength for the Riptide center fielder, but he showed off that he can do that too. He's well disciplined. That's why he's up 3-1 in the count. Hammond does have first base open. Eventually allow the first 2 men of the inning to reach for Orange County. Rogowski chops one forward towards the Riptide dugout. Ends up bouncing perfectly into the opening, actually. So Connor Barth, who's sitting in the hole, was able to corral it.
Seen a couple odd plays here tonight. We had the one little nubber that rolled back fair. Now you have a perfectly placed foul ball.
Payoff pitch to Rogowski. Check swing. Pitch is a ball. And they checked with Heath Jones. He said Rogowski did not offer. And so now 2 base runners for the Riptide. For Montgomery's double, Rogowski walks. Jarrett Sable, exactly the guy you want to have up in a spot like this.
Yeah, Jarrett Sable, obviously now the only Riptide hitter with multiple homers now on the season. But what was impressive about yesterday is that he kind of was able to find multiple ways to get on base. He finally ended the Riptide's hitless streak that spanned over 5 innings. He put an end to that in the 6th inning when he beat out an infield single. So he can really do it all.
Takes the first pitch for a strike. Sable, a 3.45 hitter, 300 with the average, 400 on base, and 500 with slugging. He's driven home 14 runs. He's scored 15. He's just been so awesome for the Riptide all summer. So he goes to a knee here. He's behind in the count 0-2.
And I think to your point as well, though, you kind of look at that, really what he was able to do. Able to get on base at will. I mean, he does swing the bat a lot, but just being able to try to get himself on base.
Takes one outside, 1-2 count.
And it was interesting, too, to my point. It was yesterday, he had a 3-hit performance. That was a season high for him. And it seems crazy that he's only had 1 this season, but it's like we said, he's been getting on base just about any way you can think of.
Feels like he always knows what the team needs from him. Shows his patience here. Counting's up at 2-2. it's so impressive for Sable because he's a guy who redshirted at USC. So this is his first real taste of facing collegiate level players. He was in the West Coast League last summer, but that's not quite as prestigious as here in the CCL. And so you're facing a really high level of competition for the first time. And Sable has worked super well with it. Shows off his eye again. County bins up at 3-2. He's in the transfer portal after redshirting an SC in the spring. So he'll have a new home in the fall. I think whatever school he goes to will be very happy that Jarrett Sable chose them. 3-2 count to the second straight hitter. Strike 3 called. Hunter Hammond finds the top corner of the zone, and Sable strikes out for the second time today.
Make that the third K for Hammond in this one. Absolutely froze Sable. We saw Kova doing that to the middle of the order. Now Hammond doing that to the Riptide.
Now Connor Barth at the plate. Barth popped out to the second baseman Nate Lopez his first time up. Goes after the first pitch, chops it to shortstop. Nagy grabs it, throw towards third, in time. That was a very close play at third. But Chris Maher ruled that Reed Montgomery did not get there before Nagy's throw. And there's 2 down. As from deep short, Nagy's able to nab the lead runner.
Yeah, Chris Maher over there had to, of course, shift over a little bit, so he didn't have the best angle as he was shifted over more towards second with the runner right there. But believe it was the right call. It was a very close play, but it looked like there was just a smidge of separation between Reed's hand and third base.
Well, the way that Nagy's momentum was, I'm not sure he had any other play. He pretty much had to try and throw to third to get the lead runner. Works out for Conejo. It's Justin Tiller takes ball 1 upstairs.
Yeah, it's definitely a play you're going to want to circle if you're the Riptide. We've talked about how hits, especially if we've approached middle innings as we are now, approaching after this half inning right here, and Riptide are kind of running. They have a lot of time, of course, but it's these little moments early on.
The 1-0 served right back up into center field for a base hit. Rogowski's going to score easily with his speed. Justin Tiller ties the game at 1. And Orange County, after a nice defensive play from Zach Nagy, answers right back to knot us all up at 1 apiece.
Absolutely clutch hitting from Justin Tiller right there. Just like we saw yesterday in the 6th inning, he followed up Connor Barth's RBI double to get him their 4th run of the game and make that a 6-game hit streak now for Justin Tiller.
He's on base officially now every game he plays this summer. Since it will be his last one, there's not going to be any change in that. So a perfect 100% for Justin Tiller. Riptide want to add on. Tatum Marsh takes ball 1 up and in. Orange County looking for some clutch 2-out hitting, something that's evaded them of late. Marsh walked in the 2nd inning, just a frame ago. He's up in the count 2-0 again here. Orange County's been able to put a guy on in every inning against Hunter Hammond, but this is the first time that he's had to face a 6th batter of the frame, or a 5th batter of the frame, pardon me. Marsh takes his strike, 2-1. So Orange County gets to be a little bit more familiar with Hammond. They saw this many hitters, 15, who've come to the plate so far in the 3 innings that we've played. As Marsh pops 1 up towards second base. Lopez fields throws to first. We're still tied at 1. Orange County sent as many men through 3 as they did in the 1st inning the last time these 2 ball clubs met. Going to the 4th, all square. Top of the fifth inning is brought to you by Richardson, the official headgear provider of the CCL. Tyson Reese, Caden Stillwell, Nate Lopez, 5, 6, 7 in the Oaks lineup coming up here against Sammy Kova. He's gotten some run support finally from the Riptide. So we're all tied up at 1. Reese had such a strange base hit. He grounded one that was headed for foul territory, kicked off the lip of the dirt, turned into a fair ball. Takes ball 1 inside. I don't think I've ever seen a baseball that was 3 feet foul on the ground spin back the other direction, especially not off a lefty bat.
Well, you know, I knew it had a little bit of a weird spin when he first hit it, kind of like had a backward spin on it because it kind of was inside outed down that shallow third base line.
So take strike 1, 1-1. You know what I will say, credit to Reese, it's so easy in that situation as a hitter to be, darn it, fouled it off, missed that pitch, and you're not beating it down the line because that ball is, 99 times out of 100, it's going to be a foul ball. You're not going to have to run. And Boudreaux fielded it quickly through a quick throw to first, but Reese was beating it down the line. Been a little bit slow to start this summer, only hitting 235, and he wanted that base hit, so earned it. Sometimes get smiled upon by the baseball gods. Two and 1 from Kova. High chopper. This one will stay permanently foul. You have to wait with the Tyson Reese. You just wanted to make sure.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was just like, let's wait for that one to come back down to earth. But like to your point as well for Reese, that was at least a fortunate break for him because he has been swinging a better bat of late. You look at what he did with his 3 for 5, 4 RBI when he hit a grand slam against the Philippines, but he was a combined 0 for 6 with a walk against the Riptide in his last 2 outings against him. So finally got his first hit against the Riptide.
Those 4 RBI on the grand slam account for more than half of what he's had this summer, just 7. Nice AB right here. It's a full count. Kova wants to eliminate the first hitter of the inning. Contreras in the first and Reese, like we were talking about, in the second, each reached with leadoff singles, but got Aiden Boyles to line out last time, and this one's laced down the line, foul and out of play. So key to get the first man of the inning out, makes everything a lot easier for you as a pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, this is a guy, of course, you look at the numbers just alone, had 28 walks at San Joaquin Delta College this past season and only 27 strikeouts. So he was walking more than striking out. So that's really impressive.
Walk, strikeout, or a ball in play right here? That's the question for Sammy Kova. Popped up foul. Battle will continue.
This will be a good response here for Kova, regardless of where he goes after the result of this batter, because he hasn't really had to. He's been at a really good pace, even with the run that he gave up in the second. A lot of it was quick contact. This is really the first time he's had to try to grind his way through one as he keeps fouling off payoff pitches.
Probably his final frame. He only worked 4 innings last time. That was his longest of the summer. No action really seriously going on in the Riptide bullpen at the moment. Payoff pitch again. Liner towards right center field, but it's going to fall into the glove of Connor Barth. The blooper was snagged by the Riptide second baseman for out number 1.
Yeah, initial indication looked like he might have gotten enough to lift that one out into shallow right, but just got under it enough for Connor Barth to get a nice beat on it.
Yeah, Barth correctly played that baseball and just a couple steps onto the outfield grass. Now Caden Stillwell, who chopped one to Bradley Boudreaux at third base and beat out the throw, allowed him to reach, ended up getting left on third back in the second inning. Takes ball 1 down. Just like Justin Tiller, he extended his on-base streak. He's been aboard every single game this summer for the Oaks, 11 straight. From Avila University. It's an NAIA team. Goes after that one to right field. Marsh moves a couple steps back, but had him played pretty much perfectly and makes the second out of this inning.
I got him to be a little bit late on that pitch right there. Just got enough of the inner half right there to the right-hander. Good job for him to kind of freeze him up a little bit. He did put a good swing on it, but because he was behind on it, it was a routine flyout for Marsh.
Nate Lopez laced a single to left his first time at the plate. Back up here. The summer is so important for a guy like Nate Lopez, who's in the transfer portal. He only played 14 games at San Diego State. This is his 12th of the summer. So getting the opportunity to show all those colleges a ton of extra tape, get used to being a consistent baseball player who's playing every day. A lot of these guys who are younger at their Division I schools might not have played every day, and so it's a great opportunity for a guy like Lopez. 0-1. Bounces in the dirt, 1-1 count.
Yeah, and you look at the numbers, the 12th game is batting a little bit under 220, but he has been able to kind of just hit the ball all throughout the season. He has 4 2-hit games this season. Actually, when they first played the Riptide on the 6th, we were able to see he went 2 for 5 in that game.
1-1. Popped up, fouled on the right side, and second one that leaves the Great Park today. So Kova looking for a 6th strikeout, which would match his output from a week ago. 1 strike away from ending the top of the 4th. Lopez has struck out 12 times in 11 games this year. Kova wants to keep the K numbers high. Got him! Strike 3 called on the outside corner. 3.5 innings into this one. We're still tied at 1 after Sammy Kova has set down his last 9. Bottom of the 4th inning is brought to you by Fairmont Schools in San Juan Capistrano. Hunter Hammond misses the zone for ball 1. But what an improvement for the right-hander. Came in today with an 18 ERA. But he has been very solid so far. Just giving up 1 run through 3 innings. Evens up the count to Neufeld. Noah's been one of the guys who has been a little bit limited by the fact that the Riptide have so many options at the catching position. Only his 7th game of the summer. So that skips in the dirt. 2-1 count. The Riptide making a little bit of a change, not to their players on the field, but to their coaching staff alignment. Eric Coleman out at third base coach today in place of Grant Mayu. Neufeld fires one towards the Riptide dugout. Protective netting, make sure that everyone in there is safe.
You talk about Eric Coleman was ready to field that one, had it not hit the lip of the grass right there and kicked away.
Eric Coleman, one of those guys who's been around baseball for so long, he has forgotten more about this game than most of us will ever be lucky enough to know. 2-2, bounces in the dirt. Nice job by Neufeld to lay off that one. He's one of my favorite guys to chat with, just because he has so many stories, so many players that he's known and taught who've gone on to become big leaguers. And that Hunter Pence, the best player he ever coached, so that's a pretty solid major leaguer. Payoff pitch to Neufeld. Chop towards shortstop. Nagy charges, throws on the run in time. Out number 1 at the bottom of the 4th. And while we're on the topic of base coaches, Andrew Ramos, who's talking things over with our first base umpire Heath Jones, was the greenskeeper at Willowwick Golf Club, where he gave me a discount today for my round. So shout out to Coach Ramos and to Coach Coleman, doing a great job at each side of the corners, putting themselves in danger of those line drive foul balls. Great dudes as well. Boudreaux takes strike 1. He struck out 1 of 3 for Hammond during his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning.
Now, speaking of the greens, we know Bradley Boudreaux is going to want to find a ball out in the green grass in the outfield. It's been a little bit of a tough go at it, as you mentioned, down in the count, though, right now.
Yeah, he had a 3-pitch strikeout his first time up. Last game against the Barons, didn't have a base hit, but he did reach on both a walk and a hit by pitch, so at least find a way to be productive. That's been the high point for him. His on-base percentage has stayed high, up to .359 at the moment. But he strikes out for the 2nd time today. He's seen just 6 pitches, and they've all been strikes.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you get into those little funks right now, when you're trying to just get reps here in summer ball, sometimes you find yourself being a little bit over-aggressive, and I really think that's just what he was doing right there. It was a great mix from Hammond right there. Got him out in front on back-to-back pitches with that off-speed.
So base is empty. Travis Curry at the dish for the Riptide. Takes ball 1 up and in. Both Hunter Hammond and Sammy Kova have brought their A game. Looks like someone's up and throwing in the Riptide bullpen. Dylan Orr and Brad Grinlinger both moving around, potentially getting loose to come into the game. Curry shines more on the defensive side of the ball, where he can play second base, shortstop, and third. He's up in the count 2-1. He's actually the defensive player of the year at Huntington Beach High School. Definitely done a great job with his glove all season. Trying to contribute with the bat as well right here. 2-1. Pop up on the infield. Second baseman Lopez calls off the shortstop Nagy. He'll make the catch. That'll end the 4th inning. After a 1-2-3 frame from Hunter Hammond, we are still tied at 1. We'll have a word from our sponsors at the CCL. The California Collegiate League's biggest event of the summer is coming to Reno, Nevada on Saturday, July 4th. The 2026 CCL All-Star Game will bring together the league's top players and future professional prospects at Greater Nevada Field, home of the Reno Aces. Following the game, fans will enjoy a spectacular fireworks show as part of the America 250 celebration. To purchase tickets and learn more, visit calsummerball.com. Top of the 5th inning when we come back. Liam Thatcher's up in the booth with us. Thank you for joining us, Liam. Sweet.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's great. It's great to be up here, man. I've never been up here before, so it's
I know it's pretty nice up here on the booth, right?
yeah, it's a nice little stadium for sure.
Brad Gridlinger into this game. Sammy Kova finishes 4 innings of 1-run ball. Gridlinger will face Grieve and Nagy, and then the top of the order in Contreras. So, Liam, what's been your favorite part of being a part of the Riptide this summer?
I mean, honestly, like there's a bunch of stuff I like, man. The fellas are great. Love the hacky sack every single day. I got a long commute, and it's like worth it every single time I come. And it's just like a great baseball environment too. And I think it's a good brand of baseball that we play over here. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of it, for sure.
Who's the best hacky sack player on the team?
I would say either Slater Nunez or Coach Brian Evans.
Really, Coach Evans?
I'm shocked by that one.
Nah, aggressive hacky sack player for sure.
Popped up to Boudreaux, who makes the catch for out number 1. I haven't even seen Coach Evans play. I might have to get out there. Is he doing it before batting practice? Or?
It's like in free. He'll just come out there and he'll just take over the game and beat everybody. He plays aggressive. It's fun. Gets after it.
I thought hacky sack was like a cooperative game. Like, how do you beat?
So like, you can just do like freestyle pass around to each other, but there's also a game where if 3 people touch it, you have to catch it with your offhand and you throw it at somebody, and it gets them out. Or if you kick it between their legs, they're out too.
Okay.
And Evans just goes in there and just megs everybody. Gets everybody out.
On brand with the World Cup going on.
I know another thing that you guys do is the 2-ball action.
The 2-ball.
Yeah, you can talk to me a little bit more. Who's headlining that one?
I don't really know, to be honest. I'm not that big into 2-ball because I'm terrible at it. But I mean, I always see Tiller in there near the end, or Travis Curry too. Travis Curry is always in the mix too.
That one's laced down the left field line. Very well hit for Nagy.
That's
it
foul.
will twist foul though. Great call.
Yeah,
You're a natural up here in the booth. It's perfect. Oh, that was a little scary. I thought that one was gonna.
It looked like it was carrying a little too much.
Well, especially with that. Did you see that foul ball that they had that twisted back fair, that like off the infield dirt?
Oh, I did. Yeah, it's wicked.
Have you ever had that happen to you while you're on the mound?
Yes, I have.
Really? Okay.
And it's like the most frustrating thing on the planet. But it's just like also like what are you gonna do about it?
What's more frustrating, an infield single or like a jam shot broken bat base hit?
Jam shot broken bat base hit for sure. Because it's like that's firewood, and then it's like little dinker. It's terrible. You just executed and didn't get the reward, but it's still fun when you break the bat, though. To be honest.
Solid. I would imagine that'd be good. It's fouled right back towards us. I gotta be ready to. I wish this booth was open because I would love to catch a foul.
Oh, that would be pretty dope. Like there's a guy, like the guy that was Wrigley. The guy was up there. He caught it.
How was it for you? I know you were a little bit of a late arriver for the Riptide this summer.
Yeah.
What was it like integrating with these guys? Did you have some prior relationships that helped? Or?
Yeah. I mean, one of my Alex Dolan was my teammate in community college, so he, it was great to be with him. It's just nice group of guys. Like they're all super cool, local guys. A lot in common. Down to earth dudes. It was great. It was pretty quick. Like after the first day, I was in the mix pretty good.
Yeah, they're there for the pitcher. Gridlinger will allow Nagy to reach.
And another big thing too is this pitching staff really seems. I've mentioned it a couple of times. You guys go barefoot on the ground. I know you haven't joined the trend yet, right?
No, I have not.
Do you think do you plan on doing that?
I got really close to doing it today. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't wear flip-flops and stuff to the field, so I don't have anything like that. But it's a lot of fun, and it's super nice. We have good grass here for it, so it's amazing.
How does it compare? I know you were with Arroyo Seco last summer. How does it compare here at the Great Park to Jackie Robinson Field?
A lot different. This park plays a lot bigger than Jackie Robinson did, at least to right field. So on a pitching standpoint, I love it. But I think they're both great in their own ways. This one is kind of a cool little minor league stadium environment that I love. But Jackie Robinson is also right next to where I live, so it's always been one of the fun places to play for me.
I know that Tom McGuire sort of told us that because of the nature of the teams and where guys are from, that the Riptide and the Saints is about as big of a rivalry as you'll get in summer ball. How's it, being on the other side of it? Obviously, last year the Saints eliminated the Riptide.
Yeah.
What was that like for you to switch sides, sort of?
It's definitely interesting, but I don't know. For me personally, it's just baseball for me, man. Summer ball, it's all about having fun and like getting kind of back to your roots, play a game, what it's supposed to be. But I can definitely see the contention, and they're a good squad. So any competitive team, there's going to be a rivalry.
Yeah, and what are some of like the biggest, because when you make such a big jump like that, you're kind of playing in a different environment. We've already talked about the field, but
Yeah.
as far as the clubhouse, like in what ways has the Riptide been different for you trying to get acclimated with the team?
This group of guys in particular was super outgoing, and a lot of these guys went to Cypress Community College, and like I had a buddy at my school I was at that went to Cypress, and we kind of bonded over that. And like a lot of these dudes, I played against them, and the Saints was a little bit more of an out-of-state group when I was there, so it was different guys, different backgrounds. But this is a lot of guys that close to home. We basically all do the same thing, so I think this is what's been the big difference.
So I know you pitched yesterday as that one's fouled off. We'll send Nagy back to first, who's running on the pitch. What's a recovery day like for you?
Usually if we have an off day or something like that, I'll go golfing, not throw, get the body moving. But today I'm probably gonna try to come back Sunday, so like really stretching and light throwing, getting blood flow to the body, but not doing too much. I'm just kind of relaxing for the most part.
Well, if you're looking at golf, Coach Ramos, who's working first base, he works at Willowit Golf Club.
Yeah, he was telling us that. I might take him up on that.
I got the discount today. I was over there. I ran. It wasn't even planned. I just walked in and
he just happened to be there.
He was like, "Hey, I'll give you the discount. It'll be perfect." It was a pretty good deal. Big strikeout there for Grindlinger, second out of the top of the fifth, and now Aiden Boyles comes to the plate. Still Nagy on first. So, Liam, besides golfing, what's your favorite thing to do when you're not doing baseball stuff?
Honestly, I play a lot of basketball. I played a lot of basketball growing up, so I just like it's a way if I'm not really feeling the gym, just go shoot around, pick up, hour or two a day. And I've a lot of my friends play basketball, so I'll get them together and we can play it. And then outside of that, man, I like hiking, going, swimming, stuff like that, like normal stuff. But basketball for sure is one of my other ones that I love.
I know you're a big movie guy too, though, right? Can you tell me a little, because you were talking about it yesterday. Your dad has a lighting company, right, that does a lot of big motion pictures?
Yeah, so my dad is like a freelance lighting programmer, so he does programming for film, music videos, TVs, things like that. So he buys a bunch of movies, and he like always had, like growing up, he was always watching them, and I think it just kind of made me big on it. So yeah, I do watch a lot of movies in my spare time too. Where
are you positioned for basketball?
I'm like a 5'10" power forward. I'm not a great shooter, but I got some athleticism to me. I'm a bigger guy, so I get boards like a maniac.
I'll tell you, they had you as 5'11" on your college website, so I think you're selling up a little bit short.
I mean, a 5'11", I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take what I can get.
How's the transfer portal process been for you so far?
It hasn't been pretty that bad. I think part of it is like this program we're playing for is pretty solid. And that brings a lot of attention. And the coaches are great, and I think so it hasn't been too bad at all.
So second error of the inning there for Brad Grindlinger, who drops the pop-up. That will allow Nagy, running hard with 2 outs, to score. Conejo takes a 2-1 lead. Second fielding error of the inning for Grindlinger. How tough is it to field your position as a pitcher? I know you see a lot of guys struggle with that.
It's really tough, man. And I think I've had some coaches that are like on a fly ball like that. They tell the pitcher, get out of there, don't even, I'd rather someone else attempt to catch than you even be stationed under it. So it can be tough, but it's one of those things that you just gotta not think about when you do it and just, do it. And that's how you go about it, I guess. But it happens so rare, it doesn't happen that often. So it kind of scares you a little bit when it does.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. Anytime a pitcher has to field the ball and try to throw over towards first, especially you see guys that kind of release out of an unstandard arm slot too, might be difficult.
Yeah, it's funny. You would think guys that throw a bunch, would have an easy time getting the ball and throwing it, but it's funny how it works out that way.
Fly ball to left field from Whitco ends the inning. The Oaks get 1 on a pair of errors from Grindlinger. They lead this game 2-1. We're halfway through. Thank you so much to Liam Thatcher for coming up to the booth and talking with us. We appreciate it. Fellas. Colin Costigan will have us on play-by-play the rest of the way.
Right.
This half inning is brought to you by the Rome Beer Company. It's now the bottom of the 5th inning here at the Orange County Great Park. I'm Colin Costigan. You all heard the amazing Sam Evans for the first half of that game, but the Riptide find themselves down 2-1 right now. It is going to be 9-1-2, facing a new pitcher. Night for Hammond is over. It is number 25, Thomas Novak, delivers a strike to Montgomery. For the sophomore left-handed pitcher, a Malibu native, went to Chandler Gilbert Community College.
Well, first off, thank you. That was so nice of you, Colin. Lefty on lefty matchup here.
Absolutely, and big swing and a miss though right there from Montgomery. And we kind of talked about it. We saw that double nearly hit it out in the last half inning, but he's been doing that time and time again. This is obviously his 11th game, rounding out the order. But what he's just been able to do, and he didn't have the season he wanted, and why he with Long Beach, why he's in the portal right now. Unfortunately, though, does go down swinging 0-2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night here on this evening. Goes down swinging to begin the Riptide half of the 5th inning, but a welcome sight there for Thomas Novak.
Yeah, that's sort of been the nature of things for Montgomery. You have the wall ball double right, showing off the power, but when things go poorly, it often ends in quick strikeouts and some ugly swings, and that's what Reed needs to work on a little bit.
That now brings up Trajan Rogowski, who had a hit back in the first and was able to reach second in the same process on the air, then walked and came around to score back in the 3rd inning. Looks at that first one for outside, ball 1, and Trajan, another one of those guys for the Riptide that when he gets on is always trying to find his way around the bases.
It's a real contrast in styles. Rogowski is 7 for 9 on stolen bases this year. All season long, Conejo only has 15 stolen bases as a whole team. So really different approaches for Brian Evans and Davis Solis about being aggressive on the base paths.
Well, the Riptide came into this game top 5 in stolen bases. They had 46 as a team, and pitch misses. Now he's ahead 3-0 and just one more pitch away from potentially getting himself on base. 3-0 offering does not get the green light, and that misses outside for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk, and he's aboard for the 3rd time, already his 2nd walk here tonight.
Nice job there from Rogowski. That's 12 walks in 13 games this summer. So patient at the plate. Pass the baton to Jarrett Sable.
Just like that, the Riptide have the tying run on base. It's an unfortunate half inning for Brad Grinlinger, who made an error back in the 5th. Made a couple of errors, of course, as well. Made the first one that allowed them Nagy to get over towards second, and then he was able to come around on the pop-up that would have effectively ended the inning. Nonetheless, it is a 2-1 ball game. Sable looks at that one in there for a strike. For Jarrett Sable, of course, 0 for 2, not the typical box score he has at this point in the game. 0 for 2, both a K. Went down swinging in the first, went down looking in the 3rd. That pitch way outside for ball 1. Tried to get him with that sweeper.
Well, hopefully for Sable, the pitching change helps him out. Hammond had his number. 2 of his 4 strikeouts came against Sable, and now the lefty Thomas Novak. Easier sledding for Jarrett Sable at the plate.
Jarrett Sable a little bit out in front of that one. He was ready to send that one to Tustin.
Certainly has so much power in his bat, and tried to unload on one there.
Jarrett Sable has hit in 5 of his last 6 games. 8 for 21 over his last 6 entering tonight. Now, of course, 8 for 23. Looking to change that. It's a little dribbler over towards him. Gonna wind fire and just get him out over at first base. A good job from Voiles behind the dish right there. Fielded his position well. Now has a key second out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Nice stuff right there from Aiden Voiles behind the plate. Those are so tough as a catcher to come out of your crouch, sprint into position to field that ball and fire a strike.
That now brings up Connor Barth, who is batting 3rd in the lineup for just the 2nd time this season. The Riptide did win that one game in which he did bat 3rd. Has a chance now to try to bring in another runner. He, of course, had that RBI double in the 6th inning yesterday. That was what made it a 3-1 game. Ended an 0 for 10 streak for him. That went a little bit high for ball 1, and for Connor Barth. Did reach on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd. Still hasn't had a hit in this one as he popped up to 2nd back in the 1st inning.
Love a base hit. Rogowski's already scored once from second. He's got great speed. Got to bring home a run here.
And there's that speed. He's going down towards third. And a play that pops out of the glove right there. And that is going to be another stolen base right there. Looked like it could have been a close play, but it popped out of the glove of Whitcow.
Yeah, it's 8 now for Trajan Rogowski. Front door closed. So decided it was a good time to try and test Boyle's arm.
Had a impressive jump. It's a hard 90 feet to steal. The 2-0. That one on the outer half, but is a little bit outside for ball 3. You see the Riptide being a little bit more patient now in this inning. Maybe that's kind of the approach that they're going to need to try to get back into these games.
Yeah, only down a run here. No reason to panic if you're the Riptide. It's been a sloppy game for both teams. 2 errors each side, and we're just halfway through this one.
See if they give Barth the green light here. The 3-0, not going to matter right there, way high and wide for ball 4, and the Riptide have 2 walks in this inning, both 4 pitches.
And Thomas Novak has struggled with issuing the free pass. That's now 10 walks for him in 5 1/3 innings this summer.
That now brings up Justin Tiller, but there's going to be a meeting on the mound right now. Head coach David Solis right there. Has one arm in the pen right now. Just give you who that is in just a second. But right now it appears it's just a mound visit, and it'll be a quick visit nonetheless. They will trust him to try to get out of this jam.
That's Oak starter Hunter Hammond in the bullpen. He's just talking things over with the coaching staff member there for the Oaks. And he's not warming up. He's just tossing a baseball in his hand. I think they're just discussing what worked for him in this outing. And the answer is pretty much everything. 4 strong innings for Hammond, who only allowed a run, and at least for the moment, in line for the win. The Oaks can hang on.
Yeah, and to your point, that final line for him was those 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, a pair of walks, but had 4 Ks. A very good bounce back effort for him in his second outing here at the OC Great Park.
Only run was driven in by this man right here.
Has a chance to do it again, but looks at that first one for a strike, and you talk about that as well for him. RBI base knocked back in the 3rd, and they are surely going to miss him in the lineup. But this is his last game here with the Riptide, for those of you just tuning in. The first half guy has reached in every game he has played this season. The 0-1, and the outer half, a 1-1 count.
Well, I was so happy for Justin. This is his second summer with the Riptide, and he came to Orange County last year off a 22 home run season with Cypress. Did not get a ball out of the yard last summer. Got close a couple times this year. Finally got one out on Tuesday over the right field fence, and it was so great to see that weight come off his shoulders a little bit. He was very smiley the next day during batting practice.
Absolutely, as that slider skipped in there for ball 2. He is one of those guys who is very relaxed. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He has one of the most calm vibes, you could say, in that clubhouse.
A lot like Reed Montgomery in that sense. Those are 2 guys who definitely, they don't wear their emotions on their sleeve, and that's something that helps them stay even keel and ready to go at all points of a ball game.
Always ready to go, and they'll need that right here. That 2-1 inside for ball 3. The Riptide head in the count once again, could potentially load the bases without needing a base hit.
Tiller does a great job of being patient in situations, but also being patiently aggressive. If he gets a pitch to hit on 3-1, he will unload.
Patience and power. Perfect way to describe Justin Tiller. 3-1 count now on the way. That one on the inner half for ball 4. And just like that, Sam, the Riptide have him juiced via 3 walks.
Stop. Bases get loaded for Conejo in the second inning. Now it's the Riptide's turn here. A big 2-out opportunity for Tatum Marsh. It'd either be trailing or leading at the conclusion of this at-bat.
Tatum Marsh walked in the second and then grounded out over towards second back in the 3rd inning. Came into this one hitting 100 on the dot, but is 0 for 1 in this one, and one misses down low for ball 1. Has those 2 RBIs, of course, but it has been a tough go at it for him. Would love to break open right here and potentially give the Riptide the lead. As Novak will step off.
Tatum's another guy, just like Justin Tiller, who's very quiet about himself and carries himself confidently, but lets his play do the talking, so to say.
The 1-0 now. Little late on that one, but lines it straight back into the netting. It is an even 1-1 count. Talked about it yesterday. He did have that 0 for 4 performance, but he is due. You just get the sense that something is going to go in his direction. We saw it with Zach Woodson earlier in the season, had his rough go at it, and then had that big 3-hit night. Really kind of opened the floodgates for him. And Tatum Marsh eyeing just that one big hit right now. That 1-1, a good take on the outer half, a 2-1 count.
Well, Novak struggling to find the strike zone. He's issued walks to 3 of the last 4 hitters for the Riptide. Not much reason to swing the bat unless you get a pitch that you're really confident in here if you're Tatum Marsh.
He had 12 walks and 12 1/3 innings pitched his last season at Chandler Gilbert. That 2-1, not getting any help from Frank Flug behind the home plate right there, is a 3-1 count now. That one missed down low.
Great spot for Tatum Marsh right here to bring home his 3rd RBI of the season.
In the driver's seat, 3-1, bases juiced. Pulls that one hard, and that's going to get off of the glove of Whitco. 1 run is in. They will hold him over there. The Riptide even this one up on an absolute rope from Tatum Marsh.
Attaboy, Tatum Marsh unloading on one. And while Whitco couldn't glove it cleanly, I think he saved 2 more runs for Conejo by getting any mitt on that liner from Marsh. We're all tied at 2, but another chance to add on here with Neufeld at the plate.
One guy who is trying to take advantage of the opportunity given to him in Tatum Marsh does just that. Worked a good AB right there, took some very tough pitches, and absolutely pulverized that baseball down the left field line. But like you said, circle that one for Whitco. Potentially, more than doubt, kept them at least tied for now. The task now turns to Neufeld. That first one in over the middle half for strike 1.
Neufeld has only driven home 2 runs all summer. Single could double that tally.
It's just his 7th game. That one skipped away right there, but Voiles was able to keep it within reach and keep the runners at bay. And talked about it for Neufeld, because Marsh is one of those guys who just took advantage of an opportunity right there. He's still kind of adjusting, but Neufeld, like you said, with the amount of talent you have Romero, you have Cooper Klauser, you have a lot of different options. He's not in the starting lineup all that often, so while the numbers don't necessarily speak out to you, but does not mean that he is a huge piece behind the dish for the Riptide. The 1-1. That one is skipped in there. Another easy take for the Riptide. He's ahead in the count 2-1.
Yeah, Neufeld's last action was back on Father's Day. He substituted in for Cooper Klauser, who had to leave the game in the 8th inning with an injury. Got the start on Saturday up in San Luis Obispo.
Of course, had a huge 2-run double in the 7th inning back at Slow on the 20th. Really helped open that game and make it a 6-2 ball game. Has a chance to open this one up. And instead looks outside for ball 3. Persistence and patience from the Riptide in this inning.
Well, I'm loving the patience. 3 walks. Marsh got the base hit, but everyone's just taking what Novak's giving them, and home plate umpire Frank Flugrat's calling a tight zone. The Riptide hitters are aware of it.
Does not have a walk on the season. He fouls that one back. It is a full count, and buckle up now. Full count, bases juiced with 2 outs and a tie ball game.
Everybody's going to be off and running.
Though it is not the bottom of the 9th inning, these are the situations you always dreamed of hitting as a kid. A tie ball game, bases full, count full, already a run in the bank. Looking to deposit another run. Runners go. The payoff pitch just gets a piece of that one. Was a low pitch, but a good job from Neufeld just to make contact.
Yeah, great job by Noah to extend the at-bat. Keep making Novak work on the mound. The longer you can stay in this at-bat, better chance you'll getting a pitch to hit. Also having a pitch, get away from Novak, potentially bring home a run on a wild pitch. All good things for Neufeld.
The Riptide just 1 for 11 with runners on. Can they make that 2 for 12? Both runners go, and he blows the express by him. Novak buckles down after allowing the run, keeping this one a tied ball game. But the Riptide were able to get their run back, and we will head to the top of the 6th, knotted up at 2. This half inning is brought to you by Sign Design. And speaking of design, don't think you could craft a better game here that we've had right now, Sam. It is 2-2 in the top of the sixth, but it's a tale of missed opportunities for both teams. You look at the box score, 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for both of these teams.
Yeah, Riptide have left 7, the Oaks 4. Both these teams have had opportunities to break the game wide open. Both these teams have had some mistakes on defense that have led to runs for their opponents. But 4 innings to decide this game.
Is 4-5-6 Antwine at the plate. Gridlinger back out for his second inning of work. That 1-0 missed inside. It is a 2-0 count. For Gridlinger, of course, other than the 2 self-errors that he had, looked pretty confident in that inning, so no concern for Brian Evans in sending him back out.
If anything, he looks more impressive pitching-wise. He got 5 outs.
And right on cue right there, a good old announcer's jinx. We're all guilty of them, but the 2-0 did hit Antwine right there, and that'll bring up Tyson Reese, who had a base hit, came around to score in the second, and then popped up to second back in the 4th inning.
Yeah, sorry about that one, Brad. it was oh so good, and just a fastball that ran a little bit too far inside. Painful trip to first for Antwine.
And now, of course, brings up Reese, and last time he was out in the lineup, he went 1 for 3 with a walk against the Waves yesterday. Of course, had that grand slam on the 23rd against the Philippines. Pitch missed outside for ball 1, and that game really kind of broke it open. That was on the 4th, and it was a game, made it 10-5, and they actually entered that inning trailing 5-2. He, of course, got that unreal infield base hit that hit the lip of the foul territory infield grass on the right-hand side, and that one is blasted just way foul. Definitely wants to get that one back.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm on the mound, strike 1. Just got to flush it, reset if you're Gridlinger.
The 1-1 count now for Brad Gridlinger. To Reese. Drops in a slider, had him buckled at the knees for strike 2. Interestingly enough for Reese, wasn't the first time he actually hit a grand slam. Go back to his 2025 season at UC Riverside. He had a 3-game stretch from the 27th of April to the 29th in 2025, where he went 5 for 9 with 8 RBIs. He hit a grand slam against Sac State, and he cues that one in toward left center. Reed Montgomery makes a nice hustle play and makes the first out of this one. Cap flies off, but nonetheless, it's out number 1.
Covering a lot of ground, picking up Gridlinger there, and it's a big first out of the inning.
You know, not a stolen base threat when he's on the base paths, but don't let that fool you for his speed that he has in the outfield. Absolutely flying in the outfield, and really what was a big reason he got to go to Long Beach in the first place. They were so impressed with his arm and his ability to really track down any ball in the outfield. Now brings up Caden Stillwell, who a base hit back in the 2nd and then flew out towards right field in the 4th. He looks at that one for a strike.
You love a double play ball here if you're Gridlinger. Riptide bats did a nice job an inning ago, and just want to get them right back up, and they're staying hot, and you want to try to put your team in line for a big inning.
Can do that right now. Head in the count 0-2.
Goes down in the zone here, so you can get Stillwell to chase, potentially put one on the ground.
There's that 0-2. Absolutely froze him on the slider toward the middle outer half. A great pitch right there. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. There's just one more out needed here on the top of the 6th.
That'll work too, right? Just no chance for Nate Lopez. And 2 outs in the inning.
The big thing for Brad Gridlinger is that he has good 2-plane action on his slider, but has a lot of running life on the fastball too. So has a good mix between those two, and big reason why he's been effective for the Riptide here this season. There's that slider right there. Did not go around, says Heath Jones over at first base. This, of course, is the beer batter in Nate Lopez, who did go down looking back in the 4th. Had a base hit back in the 2nd. He 1-0. That one is hit hard, but way foul beyond the Riptide bullpen and way down into the rest of the Great Park.
Yeah, Gridlinger did a good job of putting one inside to Lopez. Hard to get your hands in and keep that ball fair.
Nate Lopez, of course, was part of that 2025 Mission League Championship team that won their first title, or their Mission League title rather, since 2010. He won one in there for strike 2. Actually beat Harvard Westlake 7-6. He was, of course, on the first team All Mission League as well. That success has carried over into the collegiate level. Now in the portal after that, and the close 1-2, not going to get the call from Frank Flugrat behind the dish.
Yeah, a little bit inside there. Tried to get the second straight backwards K for Nate Lopez, but not quite able to land the off-speed pitch there.
Can play in a couple different quadrants with that slider. Instead goes to the heat, hits that one over toward Curry, and fires it over toward first in time to get out of it. No runs, no hits, no errors, but they do leave one on base. The Riptide will look to take the lead going into the bottom of the 6th. This half inning is brought to you by the Russell Legal Group. It's a pinch hitter here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 2-2 game now. Novak is back out for his second inning of work, but is going to be Dennis Fitzpatrick pinch hitting here at the 7th spot for Bradley Boudreau, who struck out in the 2nd and 4th. This will be the 8th appearance for Fitzpatrick this season. That one little high for ball 1. Has a .286 batting average with 5 RBIs. Was last out on the 23rd against the Waves. Went over 3 with a walk in the 6th, but unfortunately was picked off trying to move towards second. The 1-0 on inside for ball 2. We talk about players that want to get a little bit more opportunities. We mentioned it for Neufeld. Didn't have the result he wanted in the last half inning, but Fitzpatrick is another one of those guys who's just trying to relish any opportunity he gets.
Yeah, it's really important for a guy like Dennis Fitzpatrick fighting for a spot in his school at the University of Pacific to put up good at-bats here. He's done a nice job this summer, but went over 3 against the Waves last time out on Tuesday.
He didn't play in his junior year at University of Pacific, like you mentioned. The 3-0 on the way, though. And another 4-pitch walk for the Riptide. That is their 3rd now within these last 2 innings.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick spent his first 2 years of college at Golden West University and then moved to University of Pacific where he redshirted, but looking to get the step up to the Division I level and be a full-time player for the Tigers in the spring season this year.
You talk about the type of talent he had, though, in JUCO level at Golden West, was a career .305 hitter. Another good contact bat. Curry bunts that one foul. Curry 0 for 2 in this one. Last popped out to second back in the fourth.
A little surprised to see Curry lay on the bunt. Novak is, you said, walked 4 batters since coming into this game just an inning ago. Not a guy you want to necessarily give a free strike to. To be honest, I'm also a little surprised David Solis sent Novak out there for another inning after his struggles a frame ago.
That one in there for a strike. And for Curry, though, looking to try to improve in some capacity. He's been able to work good ABs, but just hasn't been able to get those hits. He's 1 for his last 16 now, including his 0 for 2 tonight. The 0-2 now on the way. And just gets a piece of that one to stay alive.
Fitzpatrick pinch hitting for Bourgeau at third. We haven't seen Fitzpatrick play anything besides second this season. We did see Travis Curry was at shortstop, play some third, and Connor Barth is at second, play shortstop. So potentially some shuffling around the Riptide infield in the top half of the inning coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. With a lot of guys leaving too at this point in the season, Brian Evans is going to try to switch things around and try to give more opportunities to some of his guys who've been waiting for their moment. But the 0-2, Travis Curry does go down swinging. His first K of this one here tonight, but now 0 for 3.
Yeah, the Riptide are definitely short-handed. Slater Nunez is out this week. Thomas Cernius also out dealing with a thumb injury. Landry Stamps went home about a week ago. Going to lose Justin Tiller after tonight. And especially around the infield. That's where the Riptide are the thinnest in terms of options for guys to plug and play.
Well, you look at the outfield and the man at the dish right now. No shortage of that, at least for Coach Evans going forward. Reed Montgomery did strike out back in the 5th. That one skipped in the dirt, but able to keep it in front of him was Voiles, and Fitzpatrick will not move up.
I think that we're going to see some of the Riptide catchers get some DH days. We saw Jarrett Sable, who's pretty much mostly only played outfield, play first base a couple days ago for the Riptide. And Brian Evans is just doing what he can to figure out how to get all of his guys in the lineup and make a good, strong defense and offense.
Yeah, 2-0 count now to Reed Montgomery. You talk about it with Sable, too. I mean, talk about rotations. You look at the game that they had back on the 24th against the Bombers. He not only played first base for just the 3rd time, he actually led that game off for the first time all season. Hasn't led off since then. They've been plugging him back in the 2-hole spot where he's primarily been this year. But 2-0 count now to Montgomery. Hits that one hard towards center field. Grieve is going back. That's over his head. Fitzpatrick got a late jump and is flying around third. He's going to score with ease. Montgomery thinking 3. He is in there with a headfirst slide. Just like that, the Riptide rally once again, and they are up 3-2.
Great job from Reed Montgomery, unloading on one, never stopped running. Grieve had a lot of trouble with that one in center field. Took a bad route to the baseball, allowed it to drop in at all, and then fumbled it in center as well. That's what allowed Montgomery to move all the way to third with just 1 out. Just a disaster for the Conejo center fielder. We talked with Trajan Rogowski a couple days ago about how tough it is with the way the lights are here at the Great Park. It's really easy to lose the baseball, especially if you're, like Grieve, a visitor who's unfamiliar with the Great Park. But the Oaks' misfortune is the Riptide's benefit. They can capitalize on the mistake. Infield comes in here for the Oaks as Trajan Rogowski comes to the dish.
Make that RBI number 9 for Reed Montgomery. Just continuing to pile it on, and boy, has he just been a potent threat. His 2nd triple of the season already. Had that one against the Blues where he finished just a homer shy of the cycle. The first one now for Trajan Rogowski in there on the outer half for strike 1. Like you mentioned, Sam, infield is in. Montgomery with a very generous lead over at third, not trying to be too aggressive. 0-1 now. Is down for ball 1, a 1-1 count. But we have seen that a couple of times where Sable earlier in the week was able to Q1 against the Bombers, and it went towards the favor of the Riptide because they had the infield in.
Yeah, Rogowski's good at situational baseball. Look for him to recognize that the infield's in here.
Does get under that one. Will it stay in play enough? A great beat, and not able to hold on to that one was Reese. Thought he was about to make a spectacular jump play, but instead overran the ball. That is a lot tougher than it looks, though.
Yeah, had to cover a lot of ground moving towards the Oaks dugout. Extra life here for Rogowski. Missed there, but he's just trying to lift one of the outfield, put solid wood on the baseball and hope you find a hole pretty much.
Yeah, the Riptide had a similar situation in the 8th inning yesterday, which they were trying to protect the lead. Cooper Klauser did not catch a foul ball that ended up being a double the following pitch that put the tying run in scoring position. The 1-2 is skipped in the dirt, a 2-2 count, but the Riptide looking to change that here and get on the other side of it. They already have the lead with 1 in thanks to the Reed Montgomery triple. Would love to double their lead. And the Riptide make it a 2-4 game for number 2-4 at the dish. That one is skipped in the dirt, ball 3.
Good patience from Rogowski. The pressure is definitely not as much on Novak to come in the zone here as it is for Rogowski to try and come through. So he's already walked twice. Wouldn't shock me if he walks a third time right here.
And instead hits that one, and that gets under the glove and past Nate Lopez. A costly miscue right there, but the Riptide will cash in. It's a 4-2 ball game.
It's exactly what you got to do right there if you're Rogowski. Just hit it hard. It's a tough play for Lopez. We'll see on the ruling whether it's a base knock or an error, but definitely hit it hard enough.
And they did indeed rule that one in. RBI knock. It was a very tough carom over there for Lopez. Probably one that he thinks he can make. But for the Riptide, they will take anything they can get. They now bring up the heart of the order, starting with Jarrett Sable. That one in there for a strike. Novak now has a lefty with Barth, the righty, on deck. And Trajan goes down towards second. The throw down from Voiles way wide and not in time. Another stolen bag for Trajan Rogowski. And a correction on that last one. It was indeed ruled in error by Nate Lopez. It was one of those tough ones, but because he was able to get a glove on it and it would carry him a different direction because of his contact that he made with the glove, understand the rule change right there. Nonetheless, the Riptide did double their lead. That one inside for ball 2. Jarrett Sable is ahead in the count.
Yeah, that's a tough play. I think I lean base hit on that one. It's a tough one with the infield in for Lopez on a hot shot, but an error is fair enough, I guess.
Jarrett Sable hits that one high toward right field. Contreras, though, can't see it and lost it in the lights up there. Instead, the Riptide are going to get another run right here. Rogowski flying around the bases. May not be the way he drew it up, but Sable scorched another one into the night, and Riptide just like that lead it 6-2.
Well, Contreras fell down. He completely lost his footing in right field. Talked about when the ball goes above the lights, things get pretty difficult defensively, but Contreras just lost his footing, couldn't locate the baseball once he came back up, and it's an RBI double for Jarrett Sable.
Yeah, on the initial indication, looked like he wasn't too sure where it went, but like you said, did lose his footing a little bit, kind of tripped over himself right there. An unfortunate break right there, and fortunately for the Riptide, they are able to capitalize off of it, and they'll take anything that they can get at this rate. It's been a tough go at it of late. You mentioned they were losing 3 out of their last 4 games and had a gut punch last night for the Riptide. A 2-5 ball game here in the bottom of the 6th inning, of course. Apologies for that miscorrection earlier on the scoreboard. Jarrett Sable does get the double. It's an RBI that brought in Trajan Rogowski. That one, a 1-0 count now to Rogowski. Or sorry, check that, to Connor Barth, excuse me. Just talking about him scoring that last run. The 1-0 in there for a strike, a 1-1 count.
Yeah, the Riptide have done a great job of capitalizing on the Oaks' mistakes this inning. This has been an uncharacteristically poor game for Conejo defensively, but sometimes that's how the baseball game goes. Orange County's been there to capitalize.
1-1, missed down low, ball 2. Well, for a game that was moving along fairly well, this bottom of the 6th inning has been a long one indeed, perhaps because of some miscues, but also just the Riptide's ability to keep working the count. Case in point right here with Connor Barth ahead 2-1. He walked back in the 5th and was able to make his way up toward 3rd. And gets on the inner half of that one and sends it over to Reese. Flips it over in time to Novak. A nice play over there down the first base side. Jarrett Sable will move up to 3rd, but there are now 2 outs.
Yeah, good job by Novak to field his position well there. Nice flip from Reese. He's able to move the runner up, but you'd love if you could make this a 4-run ball game, a little more comfortable. Justin Tiller's already got an RBI today. Why not another one?
Had that RBI knock in the 3rd, and then of course walked in the 5th and was able to move his way up towards 2nd. And Justin Tiller, if the score is able to hold for the Riptide, depending on how this goes, this could potentially be his very last AB. Obviously, the Riptide would love to be able to hit enough to get him back up there for another time, but if this is indeed the final AB in the 2026 Riptide season for Justin Tiller, what a way, what a season he has had. First one he sees is on the inner half, a 1-0 count. Talked about the 6-game hit streak he's now reached in all 14 games that he has played for the Riptide. Just collected his 10th RBI of the season in this game as well. 1-0 now on the way. Gets a little bit underneath that one, sends it straight back. It's a 1-1 count.
Yeah, Tiller over these 2 years, a little under 20 games played for the Riptide. It's a limited amount of time, but it has not been a limited amount of impact for Justin Tiller. He's left his fingerprints over the Great Park and over these last 2 Riptide seasons.
A 1-1 count now on the way. Out in front of that one, a 1-2 count, and Justin Tiller is still waiting for that pitch in this AB, but never down in the count ever.
Well, he's down, but not out right here. That's the key.
1-2 now. A little bit of hesitation on the windup. Did he go around? And he indeed did. Justin Tiller does strike out to end the bottom of the 6th inning, but the Riptide rally once again. They put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 6th inning. They lead it 5-2 and wheel ahead to the latter 3rd. The Riptide lead this one here 5-2 going into the top of the 7th inning. It's going to be 8-9-1. Grieve, Nagy, and Contreras. New pitcher on the mound, Dylan Orr. Also in his last week here with the Riptide, drops in that slider for strike one. The final line for Brad Grindlinger goes 2 innings, no hits, 1 run is unearned, no walks, and a pair of Ks.
So important for Orr here, pitching with the lead to put up a quick 0 and just get the bats right back up for the Riptide.
Had Grieve a little out in front of that one, he sent it straight back. Dylan Orr, we talked with him a little bit, has been teasing that cutter. Might see it later today. He talked about it. He's only been working on it for the last 2 weeks. And I know you were talking yesterday, he was actually throwing around at the park with Jackson Pace. See if he debuts it tonight. That 0-2 also lined straight back, went with the heater right there.
For Dylan Orr, not much reason to mess with a good thing. 8 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. This may or may not be his final outing for the Riptide, depending on whether he's selected to be a CCL All-Star. It'll come to you sometime next week. Orr has been fantastic, very deserving.
And case in point right there, there goes with the slider, had him out in front of that one, and a K begins his evening.
If Dylan Orr isn't an all-star, I think that you could say that we should run it.
A very fair point, but you know, that was such a good strikeout and good vibes all around here tonight as the music is playing. I unfortunately had mentioned it last time. I really only think of Jared McCain when I think of this song now. He made that song incredibly popular on TikTok, for those who know. But in all seriousness, the slider down low for ball 1. Dylan Orr telling him you can have this or that, but no runs.
Well, we covered it on the radio a couple nights ago. I do have TikTok, even if I don't know the songs that are trendy and new and hip like you, Colin.
The 1-0 is in there for a strike.
You know, I was holding out for a long time on TikTok. I was one of those, those kids who's like, no, I have Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. Like, and I folded eventually. So
it became kind of a main staple at that point. I actually got it a long time ago. I will gladly admit that. That one is hit shallow. Fitzpatrick on a nice hustle play, snabs it out in right field for the second out here in the top of the 7th. Should have said snags, of course. Made up my own word.
Well, that play was so nice from Dennis. I think he deserved a whole new word. Inserted into the game, takes over at second base. Connor Barth, who was at second, moves to shortstop. Travis Curry from short goes to third with some shuffling around for the infield. But they say that when you come into a ball game, the baseball tests you and finds you right away. Didn't take long for Fitzpatrick to have to chase one down, but a big second out of the inning. And now Orr gets to face the top of this talented Oaks lineup with the bases empty.
Contreras, who struck out back in the 5th. He's 1 for 3 on the night when he had a single to lead off this game. He is behind 0-1 as he fouls that one straight back. Dylan Orr trying to pitch another scoreless frame here. It's been everything you can ask for and more. There's that slider, not able to get it on the outer half. It's a 1-1 count.
It's been so great for Dylan. He was limited for all of 2025 in college and a part of this season with Grand Canyon with issues with Tommy John surgery. But he's battled back and has been such a great presence out of the Riptide bullpen. We are definitely going to miss him when he leaves.
Absolutely. And case in point does blow the fastball right there to get ahead. And then 1-2 counting. Look at his last outing too. He went 2 very solid innings against Slow on the 20th. He pitched the 5th and 6th inning, walked 1, but fanned 4. And that is one of the best offenses that he will face here in the CCL. Of course, the Blues have a team batting average of 280, second in the entire CCL. The Foresters, the only team ahead of them, they were flirting above the 300 line. Now they are at 294 as a team. In the driver's seat on the mound. 1-2, gets under that one and fouls it straight back. He will do it once more. Typical pitches for him, of course, has the fastball slider combo, but his slider has over 2,600 RPMs and even would feature a curveball at times, but primarily going with the fastball slider. And cutter as well that he's trying to mix in there. Here comes the 1-2. It's just a piece of that. A good job from Contreras to try to battle at the dish and extend this inning. Now, if you're Dylan Orr, you've been cruising all season. You're facing easily one of their hottest bats at the top of the order. Been able to keep him limited his last 2 ABs. Do you think he tries to go back to the off-speed?
Yeah, I think so. I think let's go with a slurve right here for Dylan Orr. This is best on best, basically. One of the best, if not the best pitcher for the Riptide in the bullpen against the best hitter for the Oaks.
And this time, the Riptide win that battle between the bests. He fans him and has a pair of Ks here in the top of the 7th inning. The Riptide still lead it 5-2, and we will head to the bottom of the 7th. The California Collegiate League's biggest event of the summer is coming to Reno, Nevada on Saturday, July 4th. The 2026 CCL All-Star Game will bring together the league's top players and future professional prospects at Greater Nevada Field, home of the Reno Aces. Following the game, fans will enjoy a spectacular fireworks show as part of the America 250 celebration. To purchase tickets and learn more, visit calsummerball.com. The Riptide had a fantastic top of the 7th inning from Dylan Orr, who continues to put up zeros every time he is entered. For the Riptide, here in the bottom of the 7th, they'll be facing a new arm. That is the end of the road for Tyler Novak. They've now faced Ty Hanley, the sophomore left-handed pitcher from Westlake Village and Golden West College. The final line for Novak was 2 innings, 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 of which were earned, 4 walks, and 4 Ks. He will come into this one facing 4, 5, and 6. Correction on that one, sorry, 5, 6, and 7. Math is hard. Tatum Marsh will be leading off the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, it really is. That's the key. I've always told my dad that's why I didn't want to be a doctor like him. I said, no, I want to be an announcer because you do too much math. I can't do the calculus and the trigonometry. That's not for me. So I empathize with you.
The first one now from Hanley is in there for a strike. For Hanley, that was 4th appearance for them this year. Has 4.1 innings pitched thus far, has a 6.23 ERA, with 5 walks and 7 Ks. That off-speed way wide and outside, a 1-1 count. Last pitched on the 20th against the Barons, where he went an inning and a third and gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs. He entered in the 7th with runners on the corners, just needed 1 more out. Did give up both inherited runners, plus another run after that for his earned run. Then in the 8th, he gave up an RBI double. So looking for a better outing here. His team down 3 and trying to keep it that way. Missed outside, 2-1 count.
That's got to be so difficult. You're a reliever, so you're not throwing that many innings, but you have a lengthy layoff, almost a full week between outings. A lot of time to think about what you did wrong and get back out on the mound and try and execute here.
Definitely a tough one to sit with, too. I mean, you face a very tough team in the Barons, who has been a formidable force now in the CCL this season. Last season they were 13-20, and they were a team that you didn't necessarily walk over. They did put up a good fight, but they weren't really as much of a threat as the likes of the Oaks or the likes of the Saints. But they have completely turned that around this season. A 3-1 in there for a strike. It is a full count.
Yeah, already 9 wins for the Barons this summer, approaching that number of 13 they had last year. So yeah, been a big year in Compton for the Academy. They got in the Riptide 3 times already.
No other team can say they've done that this season. The full count now. That one is chopped over the head. And deep over there in the hole at short is Nagy. Fires it across, but not in time. A nice hustle play from Tatum Marsh. He has hits in his last 2 plate appearances.
His first infield single was a laced liner that Whitco got some glove on, but couldn't make the play. And that time it was all about the wheels for Tatum Marsh. Just hustling there and leadoff single. That's what I love about Tatum Marsh. He's always playing full gas.
Absolutely no breaks right there. Has not tried to swipe a bag yet. It's just his 6th game here with the Riptide. Now brings up Noah Neufeld, who is batting 6th for the first time this season. It's now an outside for ball 1. Struck out last time in the 5th, and that is, of course, when they had runners on. It was a key missed opportunity for the Riptide, and we're wondering if they were going to be able to get past that bump and really kind of separate themselves after what's been a tough half week. We're able to answer that call back in the 6th, as that one is in there for a strike. It's a 1-1 count.
Still a couple innings to go here for Conejo, but if you're the Riptide, you're thinking, lost back-to-back games for the first time all summer. This is a great response here against a really good Conejo team. You were always going to get punched in the mouth at some point. They've answered the call here well.
There was a throw down over there. It was a little wide, but Reese luckily was able to just step off the bag and secure it to keep Marsh over at first. Still a 1-1 count, though. The 1-1 now lines that one straight back, a 1-2 count.
Take you around the CCL. We got a big upset alert to start with. The San Diego Waves go up to Santa Barbara and get a win over the Foresters. Just the Foresters' 3rd loss of the season. They've now lost 2 in a row. The Slow Blues beat the Arroyo Seco Saints 5-2. The Barons, they're up to 10 wins now after an 11-5 rout of the Bombers. Walnut Creek up in the north won 4-1 over the San Francisco Seagulls. The Sonoma Stompers up 9-4 in the top of the 9th. They're within touching distance of a win over the Alameda Merchants. And of course, right here in Irvine, the Riptide lead 5-2. So chaos all over the place in the CCL tonight.
Sorry, did you say the 1-4 Waves, who came in tonight, just beat the 15-2 Foresters?
Any given night.
That's baseball for you, right? That one's fouled, of course, into the, just actually in the bushes just behind the Oaks dugout.
We saw the Riptide be on the other end of that on Wednesday night when the then 1-8 Bombers came in, upset Orange County right here at the Great Park. Good baseball teams are going to lose games. That happens.
It's the beauty of baseball. Now the Riptide are looking to put a beauty of a W back in the scoreboard. And that one is lined, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. Noah Neufeld gets his first knock here, ends his 0-for-3. He's now 1-for-4 on the night.
Speaking of losing games, I should inform you that your Los Angeles Dodgers, after giving up 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, are now down 7-1 to the wonderful, talented, scrappy San Diego Padres. So we can save Mason Miller for another night. It's just, isn't that a win-win? Riptide winning, Padres winning, everyone is happy up here in the booth, I'm sure.
Well, that's to be determined. But nonetheless, the Riptide are certainly feeling the joy now with a couple runners on the base paths. There's going to be a quick little mound visit right here. Hanley wants to discuss things over with Voiles. Very fitting Kahoot music playing in the background.
Were you a big Kahoot guy in school?
Absolutely.
Oh, I love to hear that.
I think everybody, once they heard that music that you're hearing right now, knew what time it was in the classroom. I will say I always kept it professional with the names. Can't say the same for some of the classmates I grew up with.
I got that pretty PG. I was scared of the teacher's wrath. I was a good teacher's pet growing up.
Now one down low for ball 1. To Fitzpatrick, who pinch hit back in the 6th inning for Bradley Boudreaux, was able to work a walk. That was the start of the 3-run 6th inning. The 1-0 now. Going down over toward third is Marsh. The throw is wide and somehow was able to get around it. A nearly circus level play from Whitcow over there. dove to his left to make the catch so it didn't go into the outfield. But Marsh was able to get around the tag. The throw actually kind of took him into Marsh right there.
That was a nice slap from Tatum Marsh. Maybe not the best decision to run on that pitch there, but works out for the Riptide over at the corners. Marsh's first steal of the summer.
That one is chopped now over towards short. Marsh will come in to score on the ground out right there. A nice play nonetheless from Nagy to get Fitzpatrick over, but just like that, it is a 6-2 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, that chopper from Dennis Fitzpatrick just bounced so high in the air that the shortstop Nagy only had one play. He made it throwing at first, but Marsh comes in to score. Neufeld moves up to scoring position. Good, productive out there for Dennis Fitzpatrick, playing some nice small ball.
Another guy at the dish who is fantastic at small ball is still looking for his first hit here tonight in Travis Curry. Still just one out. Now on the outer half, a 1-0 count now. Travis Curry, though, regardless of the struggles that he has had at the dish, talked about his defense, of course, a very high IQ defender. It's a reason why he is constantly playing over there at the 6th spot. The 1-0. Down low, a 2-0 count.
Yeah, Travis is a great defender. He can do a little bit of everything. He said he's not the biggest fan of third base. Got the start there on Tuesday night for the Riptide, but he recognizes that that's what's needed for the team, and he's putting the team above himself.
The 2-0 now. Missed outside ball 3, 3-0 now.
Travis Curry wants to be a firefighter, and playing third base right now for the Riptide is putting out a fire. Slater Nunez not here. Landry Stamps no longer with the team. Not a lot of options. Bradley Boudreau's already left this game for the Riptide. It pretty much has to be Curry, and so he's taking over there and handling business.
The 3-0 misses outside for ball 4, and Travis Curry is aboard on the 4-pitch walk.
These last few innings, the Riptide have done such a great job at being patient at the plate. It's now 7 walks in 7 innings. 5 of them have come in the last 3. And Novak and now Hanley out of the bullpen. Just a great display of discipline at the plate for the Riptide. Recognize that the Oaks are having a hard time finding the zone, and they're willing to take the free bases.
Now stepping up to the dish is none other than the extra base hit machine himself. Reed Montgomery has half the cycle already. The double in the 3rd and the RBI triple in the 6th. Big swing and a miss, was ready to get the 3rd part of the cycle right there with the long ball.
He was not thinking single. He was thinking home. But not a bad time. Up 4 runs here. Looking for sort of a kill shot in this game. If you can put one over the wall or at least find a gap like Montgomery's already done twice tonight.
Can really do it all. Gap-to-gap hitter, power hitter, contact hitter. The 0-1 outside for 1-1 count. And that one hits it high in towards left field. It is carrying well, still well as a beat, and that is bouncing in front of the wall. 1 run is in. Trailing right behind him and will score once again. Make that 3 RBIs and 3 extra base knocks. Travis Curry and Noah Neufeld score on the 2-run double from Reed Montgomery.
You said Reed Montgomery can hit to all fields. He's got a double to right, a triple to center, and now a double to left. Reed has been everywhere for the team today. A 3rd 3-hit game in the span of a week for Reed Montgomery, who is scorching hot right now.
Now go to the top of the order in Trajan Rogowski. This game now completely blown open. 8-2. Just like that.
That was oppo power from Reed Montgomery. That ball was close to leaving the yard to left field. I don't think we've seen an opposite field home run in either of the last 2 years here for the Riptide. So it says a lot about the power that Montgomery has in his bat.
The 1-0 now to Rogowski. That one down low for ball 2. And when he first hit it, I wasn't too sure if it was going to keep carrying. Then I saw Stillwell, thought he might have had a beat on it, but that one just kept going, and that one nearly left the yard. We were talking about the long ball. On a swing like that, not necessarily trying to go yard to that part of the park, but the 210-pound frame of him that is just pure muscle nearly did the job. Rogowski reached on an error in the 6th and was able to swipe another bag that was left there.
Scored 3 runs today. Trajan's a menace on the base paths. Got a couple of stolen bases that have helped him score those 3 runs. He's now tied with Alex Dolan for the Riptide's team lead at 9 stolen bases.
The 3-0 now. One misses for ball 4. The second walk and for Trajan Rogowski, been an impossible out. Correction, 3rd walk and 5th time aboard here in this one.
Trajan recognizes that his biggest asset in many ways is his speed. And so being patient at the plate and getting aboard is exactly what he has to do. Scott Radinsky, the pitching coach for the Oaks, is going to come to the mound to try and settle Hanley down. After he's been knocked around a bit here. Already given up 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Orange County been tied at 2 going into the bottom of the 6th. It's now 8-2 Riptide.
It's been a tough go at it, and we'll see. That is the end of the night nonetheless. They have one arm warming up in the pen right now, but for Hanley as well, it was a tough go at it, like you mentioned. The Riptide, between their patience and the power that they've been able to showcase through this middle to latter third of the game, that will indeed be the end of the night there for Hanley. We'll have more on the new Oaks pitcher for you. The Riptide still lead it 2-8 here in the bottom of the 6th. Welcome you back to the bottom of the 7th inning here. The Riptide leading it 8-2 over the Oaks. We'll have a bit of a extended delay for you, of course, as it looked like number 23, Ty Hanley, had a little bit of an injury. The arm that's warming up in the pen, the left-hander, Luke Medhurst, was one of the couple available arms that he had, one of the 2 left-handers that David Solis had with him today here at the Great Park, but nonetheless, he is having to do an emergency warm-up as it appears Ty Hanley had left with an injury. We'll be right back. It is still 8-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Well, in a game that has been flipped upside down in favor of the Riptide, of course. They spot 3 runs in the 6th. They have 3 already with just 1 out and 2 runners on. Trajan Rogowski is at first. Reed Montgomery is at second. Jarrett Sable, 2-3-4, due up now with the new arm coming in place of Hanley, who left with an apparent injury. It is the left-hander Luke Medhurst. It's his 4th appearance with the Oaks this summer on the mound. And a two-way player for them. First one to Sable is over the heart of the plate for a strike. Of course, this is his 4th appearance, and he has thrown 3 innings thus far. ERA right on 15, has 3 walks and 5 Ks. Pitched an inning against the Riptide on the 6th, allowed an earned run, but had a pair of Ks. That one is skipped, and that is going to get past Boyles right there, and both runners move up in towards scoring position now and wipe away the double play, and the Riptide just continue to add it on.
This has not been a ballpark that has been kind to the Conejo Oaks. The Riptide won all 3 games between themselves and the Oaks here last year, and they're well on their way to sweeping the 2 games that will be played here this summer.
The 1-1 now. It's that one towards the back end is a 1-2 count. Well, for Jarrett Sable, had that RBI double back in the 6th that brought in Rogowski, as you mentioned. Rogowski's 3rd run. Anytime he gets on base, just feels like he's an automatic run on the board.
He lives in scoring position. He's back in there again. Didn't even have to steal a base this time. He got the wild pitch that allowed him to move up, and 2 in scoring position for Sable.
The 1-2. That one nearly hit him, but somehow was able to evade him. It's a 2-2 count.
Jerry Sable has high expectations because his brother Blake is in the big leagues. His other brother Stefan made it all the way up to Double-A. So he wants to become the best Sable brother. It's got a high mountain to climb.
2-2 on the way. Gets a piece of that one. Lands it straight back. When you think about where he came from in San Miguel High School under Craig Hansen, where he's also a Padres 9th round selection in the professional baseball draft. Was in the minor league system for about 6 seasons in the Padres and Mariners organization. That was where he first kind of learned really at a higher level over at San Miguel High School. Of course, redshirted at USC and is now showcasing the portal power, you can say.
Does feel like guys get a little bit extra behind him when they're in the transfer portal. Definitely a motivating factor. It's always one of the most rewarding things whenever you hear that one of these guys has secured their future at some place that they're excited about. We had Julian Hines out of the Riptide bullpen announce that he'll be committing to Wagner in upstate New York earlier today. So congrats to Julian. And that's one of the many such rewarding things that I find here about working for the Riptide, is getting to see these young men achieve success and have great steps forward in their futures, both on and off the baseball field.
The 2-2 now on the way. And goes down swinging, did pop out of the glove, but did not make contact with it. And that is strikeout number 3 in this one. They now go to Connor Barth to look to extend the inning.
Yeah, a 3 strikeout day for Jarrett Sable, but it's got an RBI double today, so it'll be something to hang his hat on. That's 9 strikeouts for Conejo pitching. But the issue has been the walks. He's issued 8 of those.
One of those 8 times the Riptide of walk came with this guy at the dish back in the 5th inning for him. Of course, grounded out over toward first back in the 6th. Did reach on a fielder's choice in the 3rd, so he's been aboard a couple times. Still looking for his first hit here. Hacks and misses. He is down in the count 0-2. Talked about a lot of the lineup switching too. Tiller is batting in the cleanup spot for just the 2nd time this season. Connor Barth batting 3rd just the 2nd time this season. Got Rogowski and Sable, who've played a lot at that spot. Rogowski has led off. A lot of his team is forward. So this is the 11th time he's led the leadoff spot for the Riptide. 0-2 now. Down low, 1-2. But like we said, as we approach the middle stretch of this season, there's going to be a lot of different adjustments. So guys are going to have to get used to kind of being shuffled around in the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. This is a great opportunity for guys like Barth to experience a different position that they might have to do later in the summer.
The 1-2 now on the way. On a little bit high and outside, a close pitch, but a good take. It is a 2-2 count. Riptide have Jackson Pace walking around the bullpen right now, but does not appear to be throwing anything yet. Perhaps Dylan Orr will go out for another inning. That 2-2 outside, a full count now.
It's been a lot of time off for Dylan Orr. The Riptide have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. There's also the lengthy delay after Ty Hanley's injury. So it's probably been half an hour since Orr was last on the mound. See if he's able to contend with that easily.
The payoff pitch. Inside out's that one down the right field line, but a foul ball, and he'll do it one more time.
Just a little bit late on the fastball from Medhurst. A good wood on it keeps this lengthy battle going.
Medhurst looking to put an end to this long bottom of the 7th inning. His payoff offering one more time. That one is chopped over towards second. Lopez picks it up on a hop, fires over towards first, and that will end the bottom of the 7th inning. The Riptide put up another 3 spot here. They now have a commanding 8-2 lead, and we will go to the top of the 8th. The Riptide are looking to scuba their way to a victory here tonight. They are 8-2 in front of the Oaks here in the top of the 8th. It's going to be 2, 3, and 4. Dylan Orr back out for his 2nd inning of work at a 1, 2, 3, 7th pair of bookend Ks. Voiles followed by Whitcow and Antwine. First one hacks and misses for strike number 1, and Dylan Orr starting the 8th just like he ended the 7th.
That's a great sign right there for Dylan Orr that after the lengthy layoff between innings, he's able to come back with a good fastball for a first pitch strike.
And that second fastball is hit over towards Fitzpatrick, shuffles the feet and fires a dot over towards Tiller, and quickly one is out here in the top of the 8th.
Watching Dylan Orr pitch a baseball has been such a privilege. To be honest, I don't have good enough eyes to tell you without TrackMan whether he's got the cutter going today, but I know that he's going to be utilizing it soon, and that'll be a great weapon to add to his arsenal.
Already with that impressive slurve that he has, pair that with the fastball. He's been working on that a lot with his buddy Jackson Pace, who's kind of warming up in the bullpen right now. It's a 1-0 count.
But he wants something that can be darting up and into lefties like Whitgo at the plate. Cutter, bust him in on the hands.
That one busted him on the hands right there, and he fouled that one back. A 1-1 count, and very fitting for Dylan Orr from Surprise, Arizona, and he has been a very pleasant surprise for the Riptide.
Well, he's so cerebral on the mound, the way he talks. You know, he's a fun guy who's very laid back and relaxed, but when you talk to him, he'll talk to you super in depth about spin rates and how the altitude can affect his pitches, how the spin of the baseball and what direction it's going, and you know, he knows everything that he needs to know about his stuff. He's super invested in TrackMan, so it's been great to see it work out for him here this summer.
Yeah, when he's pitching on that platform too, dealing with TrackMan, he talks about the differences between that versus pitching on an actual mound like this too. That was a good point that he brought up. So a guy who's very technical and methodical in everything that he does is that 1-2. Can't get the call on the slider on the outer half. It is a 2-2 count.
He's still got 2 years left of eligibility. It's that Tommy John surgery that gave him a medical red shirt. So
that 2-2 miss down low, 3-2, and You know, there's other guys on this team who've dealt with similar injury. You had Brad Grinlinger, also had Tommy John surgery. You have Colin Reed, who's had it 3 times. I was able to talk with him today, and he was kind of telling me the rehab process. He actually had teammates that had it around the same time he did, and they actually were able to recover a little bit before he was. That one is pulled over towards Fitzpatrick again. Another routine 4-3 put out here in the 8th inning.
Nice job there from Fitzpatrick handling that grounder. Stuff from Orr to get 2 quick outs. But yeah, you talk about the recovery is different for everybody. A guy like Reeves had it 3 times, might be a little bit longer and more strenuous of a process, but it's just a tough injury no matter who you are, whether at the major league level or here in the CCL. It's a real battle for guys to come back from.
Antoine now steps up after he was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. That one missed outside for ball 1. 0 for 2 nonetheless. He struck out in the 1st and flew out to left in the 3rd. (1-0) now. Checked his swing. They appeal over toward first. Heath Jones says he did not go. It is a 2-0 count. For Antoine, we talked about the struggles coming into this one. Came into play shortstop last time here against the Riptide on the 19th. Was 0 for 3 in that game. The 2-0 pops out of the glove. He's ahead in the count 3-0. But back on the 6th, even though he went 0 for 3 in that game, we talked about worked a pair of walks. The guy who has been able to at least do that to try to get on base in what has been a struggle for him, but know the potential that he has for this Oaks lineup, being the all Big 8 selection he was this past year. The 3-0 misses outside, and he is aboard with a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, for a guy like Antoine, it can be a struggle sometimes adjusting to the higher level. He, just like Tyson Reeves, who's coming to the plate, was at San Joaquin Delta Community College last year. It just can be really challenging sometimes. You know, the game doesn't necessarily translate immediately, and that's what this summer's about for guys like Antoine, is getting adjusted to the higher level and becoming a better ball player.
And for Reese, he flew out to left back in the 6th, popped up towards 2nd in the 4th, and did have a base hit in the 2nd inning. And of course came around to score. Just 1 of 2 runs scored here in this game. He set that one for a strike. It is an 0-1 count. Dylan Orr, the first base runner he is allowed here tonight. Had 5 up, 5 down prior to that. The 0-1 now. On the outer half, a 1-1 count.
I'm definitely taking in and enjoying all of this Dylan Orr outing, just in case it's the last we see of him in a Riptide uniform. Again, a guy who has got the biggest all-star case on the team.
Absolutely does. That one fouled and got a piece of Neufeld. He's up and kind of limping around a little bit, but we'll try to just walk that one out. Probably a little stinger to the leg.
Yeah, I got the worst end of that Reese foul ball. Nice from Reese and the home plate umpire, Frank Flugrat, to step out, wipe some dirt around home plate. That's the brotherhood that comes here with baseball, is everybody's looking out for each other and giving Neufeld an extra beat to recover.
We've been asked by fellow interns in the past if we were able to take a pitch toward the side, if we'd be able to get up and walk toward first base. Perhaps pose one if you're wearing full catcher's gear. Could you take a foul ball straight to the leg? See what that response is. That 1-2 is fouled straight back. I imagine a lot of us would not be able to do what Neufeld just did.
Well, you say full catcher gear. There's a lot of Bear jersey on even when you're wearing a catcher's protective gear. So I would definitely take the catcher's gear if it was given to me. But I think that if it got me where the catcher's gear was not, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
Dylan Orr. Reese to pop that one up, get just enough of that one to foul it out of play, and he'll have to throw another pitch to get him out.
Oh, that foul ball went right to the journalism intern side. And maybe I picked the wrong department. This is the 2nd time that I've seen a foul ball land over there. We're still yet to get one either here in the inside YouTube booth or on a radio booth game as well. So I'm definitely envious of them.
Well, I will say I was probably in the best spot to get one at the MLB Youth Academy yesterday. I was under a covered roof, but not one was hit even close to me. I was kind of disappointed. That 1-2 is popped straight up in towards shallow left center. Barth has a beat, but everybody gets called off. Montgomery patrolling and puts that one away for the third out. Dylan Orr has 2 clean innings, allows just 1 base runner. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base in the 8th. The Riptide coming up to bat for potentially the final time here tonight. Medhurst back out for another inning of work here after coming in back in the 7th inning. A couple inherited runners, but man at the dish is the main focal point for the Orange County Riptide. This, more than likely the final at-bat we will see for Justin Tiller, who in his final night here had a base hit in the 3rd, a walk in the 5th, 1 for 3 on the night. First one in there for a strike. Would love to potentially have his final AB end with a bang.
Well, he was trying to end it with a bang right there. An exclamation point on his Riptide career. So excited for Justin, headed to Texas A&M in the fall, and I know he'll do great things with the Aggies.
Under Coach Early as well. The one misses way high and in, a 1-1 count, and going to be going to really a top-notch facility, and so fitting for such a top-notch player as well. And they're absolutely getting a gem. The 1-1 now on the way. Slider close, but the patience of Tiller paying off right there. It's a 2-1 count.
Yeah, Justin, a great guy. Definitely left an impact on this Riptide team, on this Riptide clubhouse. Hard worker who comes to the ballpark early before the games, brings everything he has to the Riptide.
Ready to unload on that one. Just got under it. He'll step out of the box. It's a 2-2 count.
And obviously difficult to have to leave the Riptide before their seasons come to an end. Justin said that he really only gets about 2 or 3 weeks with his family every year, with how much baseball's a part of his life, and it's really important to him to have some time with his family, and Justin will be enjoying the time off and spending some time with those who he loves most.
The 2-2 now on the way, and gets just a piece of that one right there. It was close, but Tiller not going down without a fight.
Able to stave off the K there from Medhurst. Continue the AB.
Tiller rests the bat on his shoulder. Loads, winds, and swings and misses right there. The final potential AB for Justin Tiller with the Riptide this season unfortunately ends with a K.
Does not diminish at all what he or the Riptide have done tonight or this season.
Absolute piece of this lineup that will be missed surely. Was able to reach in all 14 games. Ended it with a 6-game hitting streak as well. Nonetheless, the Riptide will now look to Connor Barth to try to get a rally started here in the 8th. 1-0 on the outer half. Excuse me, that is Tatum Marsh. The 1-0 in the outer half, 2-0, and talking about guys that were looking to try to get more production. You did have the walk from him in the 2nd, but it was that hard liner in the 5th. Then, of course, he had the base hit in the 7th. He did have to leg that one out, but a couple base hits in a couple different ways. Definitely raised the batting average and try to raise that confidence level too. Big swing and a miss, a 2-1 count.
Yeah, Tatum said that it's a real thing that he works on a lot before, every game, that in spite of the results, because baseball is such a random game that can really have highs and lows and fluctuations, he tries to keep such an even keel and be steady, and knows that if he works hard and brings his best effort to everything he does, that everything will work out.
He is in the driver's seat in this one, a 3-1 count. Of course, played in 34 games and started in 29 of them at Stanford. 3-1 now. That one misses for ball 4. A solid outing here for Tatum Marsh. He is aboard for the 4th time, his 2nd walk of the night as well.
It's a great day at the ballpark for Tatum Marsh. Made some nice plays in right field as well, so contributing in all facets of the game for the Riptide and continuing a good approach, even with the comfortable 6-run lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
Now, Noah Neufeld, who was part of that crazy 7th inning, had a base hit. Also come around to score. That one close, but not going to get the call. On the outer half, it's a 1-0 count. Mentioned for Neufeld, it's his first time batting 6th in the order this season. A guy who is trying to take advantage, especially with how much talent Coach Evans can rotate, but with the players behind the dish. It's his 7th game here this season with the Riptide, but put up a good performance here, as has the majority of the Riptide lineup.
Yeah, it's been a real team effort for the Riptide. Everyone has at least reached base in some fashion or form in this game, besides the starter Bradley Boudreau, who was lifted for Dennis Fitzpatrick, who came around to score a run earlier. So 9 of the 10 players to appear have at least taken a trip around the base path at some point.
And this, presumably the Riptide, if they hold on to this one, this is a good tone setter for them going forward, as that 2-0 is fouled straight back toward right. But a good team effort, like you were talking about, something that, not that they were necessarily lacking over this week, they just weren't really able to put the pieces together. And it seems like they've really been able to do that from both sides. They had a couple situations on the mound, they're able to work out of it and never allow more than 1 run in an inning here tonight. And then that helped translate when they had opportunities at the dish. The 2-1, big swing and a miss, a 2-2 count.
Well, the question is, can this translate to on the road? And now, 2 games here basically at the Great Park against the Oaks. The Riptide have outscored Conejo 20-4. Conejo's likely to fall to 1-5 on the road, but they're very good. 7-2 at home. The Riptide have a tough test tomorrow against the Oaks up in Ventura.
That one from Neufeld is poked in toward right center field. Tatum Marsh is around second. He will go over toward third. Neufeld gonna try for 2. The relay in is not in time. A nice hustle double from Noah Neufeld for his 2nd hit here tonight.
Great to see Neufeld get rolling a little bit. 2 in scoring position as the Riptide try to add on. But this Oaks team, very tough to beat on the road. Hopefully this win in dominant fashion gives the Riptide the confidence that they need to go pull the upset tomorrow on the road.
This now brings up Fitzpatrick, who came in to pinch hit, like you said, in the 6th. He's already going to have his 3rd AP in this one. Shows you how much they've been able to keep the line moving. He walked in the 6th, and then he had that RBI ground out towards short back in the 7th inning. And the start of what was a tremendous inning with Reed Montgomery coming up later, hitting that 2-run double. That one down low for ball one.
The Riptide sent 7 men to the plate in the 5th, 7 to the plate in the 6th, and 8 in the 7th. Fitzpatrick's the 4th person to bat here, still just 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
That one high for ball two. And the rate that the Riptide are going, this is obviously just the 4th runner here in the 8th inning, but been able to keep the line moving. Perhaps they might be able to send at least 7 men to the plate in 3 consecutive innings. 2-0, that one is jammed and popped straight up. Gonna call it himself between the catcher. Medhurst somehow catches it. Marsh thought about trying to tag up. It's a very dangerous play. Medhurst collided with Voiles back there, but somehow he was able to make the catch.
No, that's why we were talking with the Riptide's Liam Thatcher. He said a lot of times you'll see pitchers just get out of the way on the pop-up. Medhurst didn't just get out of the way. He went after that one. He had to move a good 50, 60 feet. That's probably Voiles' ball, but Medhurst made the catch and a second out of the inning.
The freight train was coming through on that one. There was nothing stopping Medhurst, but nonetheless, he was able to put the ball away. A key second out now with Travis Curry coming up to the dish. The Oaks are looking for their first scoreless inning since the 4th. That one is hit on the inner half of the bat and fouled straight back toward the Oaks dugout. 0-1 is the count.
And Conejo led for a good chunk of this game at times. They scored on the top of the 2nd, led for an inning there, scored on the top of the 5th to retake the lead, but it's been all Riptide once Colin Costigan took over in the second half of this game.
Well, as much as I appreciate the gesture, that has absolutely nothing to do with me.
Oh, I think it does. Baseball is all about you have to do the little things, and you were doing the little things tonight and helping the Riptide out.
Well, I'm always glad to help in that regard. And I know Travis Curry, of course, would love to be able to continue. No, it was a tough go at it for him of late. Was able to work a walk in the 7th and get on in this game. He later came around to score once the man on deck had a 2-run double. Pokes the bat head out and did go around on that one, says Heath Jones over at first base. But sometimes when you're kind of in a little bit of a funk, you're able to kind of do the little things right and still be able to work those counts and be able to reach first base. But especially in situations like this for Travis Curry, not the highest of leverage, not obviously a moment where the Riptide would need you to come through, but sometimes these little moments can spark those things later down the road.
Absolutely. You make your habits in games like this. They set you up for your big spots that you're going to be in later in the season.
The 1-2 now on the way. Hits that one over towards second. Lopez winds, fires over towards first. The Riptide had a couple base runners in this one, but they are not able to scratch a run across. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. But the Riptide are 3 outs away from victory number 13. Jackson Pace, filled by corn music and Mason Miller's walkout song. I know Sam Evans over here is happy about that. And Jackson Pace looking to set the pace here in the top of the ninth. He is facing a pinch hitter, number 17, Zach Moore, or Mora, excuse me. The first one. Down low for ball one.
Mora is hitting .267 in 5 games this summer. He went 0 for 1 off the bench just like this against the Philippines baseball group 3 days ago, which is only at bat in the last 10 days.
The 1-0 hits that one in towards right center field. Marsh has a beat on it, and he will put it away for a quick out number 1 from Jackson Pace.
The Riptide have just done such a great job today of being smart with their decisions. They've got 2 errors defensively. They both came from Brad Gridlinger, the pitcher, in the 5th inning. That cost a run. But besides that one sort of moment, if you will, of mistakes defensively, they have been fantastic, taking charge of balls in the outfield. It's been nice to see a good defensive performance after a couple of sloppier ones of late.
Absolutely, and another part is in holding down some bats who have been hotter of late, one of them being Nate Lopez. He is 1 for 3 in this one, had a hit back in the 2nd inning. Back in his last appearance in the 6th, he grounded out over towards short, but he is even in the count 1-1 after he fouls that one back from Jackson Pace. Of course, this is now his 5th outing here at the Riptide. He's gone 7 2/3, has a 4.7 ERA, but the command has been exceptional. Just 2 walks for 10 Ks.
Yeah, sort of a hard luck couple runs that he gave up. He pitched really well.
Of course, that one right there is lined right towards center, but Rogowski speeds his way over there to catch it for out number 2. We are just 1 out away.
Yeah, Pace had a game where he threw 2 scoreless innings and then just sort of got knocked around with a couple of good at-bats and some small ball, some inherited runners came in to cost him. And that, when you only throw, limited innings as a reliever, even just 2 runs or 3 runs can really inflate your ERA. So Jackson's been better than his 4.7 ERA suggests.
Absolutely, and you look at his last outing, 2 back on Tuesday, closed out the 5-0 game against the Waves, gave up a hit but had a pair of Ks in that one. Has a pair of flyouts here to begin the 9th, but just like that, first one is outside to Grieve, who struck out back in the 7th. He is 0 for 3, did have an RBI ground out in the 2nd, though. Jackson Pace in full control now. Does drop that one down low, a 2-0 count.
It's just been nice to see the Riptide play such a complete baseball game today against a really stellar team, the 2-time defending champs in the Conejo Oaks. Oaks are 8-6 this summer. They're going to fall from 2nd among playoff eligible teams to 3rd after their loss in the Academy Barons win tonight. Riptide looking to get a little bit of cushion atop the CCL South, at least among playoff teams. Santa Barbara, of course, leads the division, but not eligible for the postseason.
Now the 2-1 thrown right by him. 2-2 count. Now Jackson Pace just 1 strike away from getting out Bodie Grieve. Here's the 2-2. Missed high for ball 3. We've run full. For the Riptide have been doing a lot better with the little things, translating to potentially a big victory, which is right there on the backwards K to end this one here. The Riptide find a way to win this one. They rally in the middle innings and then blow it out in the end. That is victory number 13 on the season. And just like that, the Riptide, who had lost 3 of their last 4, take a commanding victory over a very good team.
Yeah, just a great win for the Riptide. It was so awesome to see them. We talked about playing a complete game against a talented team like the Oaks. didn't start the quickest for Orange County, but their offense grew into the game. They took advantage of Oaks' mistakes, and that's exactly what you have to do to win games here in the CCL.
Absolutely. And another thing we talked about too is just the team effort from them overall. We saw that on both ends right there. The pitching ran into some situations, but in the end, they were able to set the offense up very well.
They did. The offense came up big in spots, 2 3-run innings. Unfortunately, got to say some farewells to Justin Tiller. Sammy Kova was excellent tonight, had a tough second inning, but rallied well from that. And Dylan Orr was fantastic as usual with 2 scoreless frames. So great to see a couple of guys shine in their final games with Orange County.
And it is sad to see some guys go, but the Riptide will be welcoming some new faces here soon. And then once the All-Star break approaches, they will have a new look lineup, of course. But that is all for us here tonight. I'm Colin Costigan, who's joined alongside Sam Evans. The Riptide are on the road tomorrow against this very Conejo Oaks team. First pitch will be at 4 p.m. He's going to be on the call as well. Thank you to everybody who is tuning in here. You've been watching the Orange